All right, let me see if I can share the screen. See if I can join this real quick.
I said, look, man, you've got a truck. You can use my trailer. I had a lawnmower, which is a side story, but and I said, look, man, just go cut some yards. And when you get enough, and you don't even have to go cut them yourself. Just go around, for an hour a day, and talk to people that who look like they need their yard cut, and make them a deal on it. Because as long as you have as long as something's putting some money in your pocket, what is that hour of time worth to you? Well, my hour of time is worth X amount. It's worth $100 or worth $80, whatever the fuck it is.
Sure, yeah. Marte, how are we doing?
But his hour of time is worth nothing. His hour of time is worth nothing.
Not if it's not being used, right?
Not if you're not getting paid for it. So even if he mowed all those yards and was the equivalent of $5 an hour, that's $5 for every hour that he did it that he didn't have earlier, didn't have before, which obviously he was going to make more. But and he did it for a couple of weeks, and he just quit doing it. And then of course, when you don't show up, people find somebody else who will show up, and so he lost all of the business that he had tried to acquire, and so he failed at it, and he gave up after it. If he did it 4 months, I'd be shocked. I can go back and look, but most people put in the effort. But it's so little effort to go out and actually make money. It's so, I mean, it's a lot of effort, but it's what else is your time worth, right? Like I was in a debate the other night where some guy was sitting there talking about how, they would only get paid like, some small, like $20 an hour or something. Well, $20 an hour is a lot of money to a lot of people, right? Like, why are you turning your nose up at that, right? Like, anyway, so it's, I think that, and look, and there's a measure of what are your skills. I do a lot of stuff. I can do a lot of things, but maybe, and some people can't. Some people don't have skills that translate into creating a business or running a business. But I mean, you can get into an SBA loan for, like, if I were going to tell somebody, let's just say they had a reasonable credit history, not great, but no BKs, nothing like that, and it was over, like, it's like mid 600, right? And so you got medium bad credit, medium okay credit, whatever. They have not a whole lot of actual money, but they have some experience. Maybe they've run something before, or they were a manager of some place, or what. They have some experience in whatever they're trying to do. Let's call it a concrete company, right? And they've had a lot of experience dealing with construction workers, and I'm just using this as an example. You can apply it anywhere. And they have a lot of experience getting concrete workers to show up. They speak enough Spanish to tell the guys to work faster, and they have a presentable look so that they can sell, right? Actually, I'll use a real example. I almost bought a company that does epoxy coatings on concrete. So they did walkways, floors, pools.
I used to do that.
Yeah. Garages, $150,000. I could have bought the company for $150,000, which is fucking steal. The company actually made a pretty good chunk of money. The problem is that the guy who ran it was also the guy doing all the selling, and he wasn't smart enough to actually hire somebody to do the selling or the running of the company. One or the two. You can't do both. So, when we were doing it, I literally outlined how I was going to 10x that company, and he ended up getting a loan from his father-in-law and staying in business and not selling it to me, which was my own mistake of running my damn mouth too much. But I could have bought that company for 150 grand. I would have had to give him maybe $10,000 up front, you know, if with a properly written up contract. You know, the company made more than enough money to pay the debt for that. It wouldn't have come, you know, still would have paid me a good salary every month. And, you know, it was a good deal for me. Came with a company car, I had, you know, not a lot of assets, but because, you know, what it is what it is. And, you know, it'd been an easy SBA loan, easy everything. And, you know, that's a good way to get started. And
yeah, I think it's great advice. I just, it just seems to me like we have to go back even further to basics, just given what I've seen and what I've experienced in my own life and all the guys I talk to. Like your level of expertise and your experience and kind of where you came from and what you acquired, I think it would be fair to say, and maybe Marte, how you doing, man? Thanks for taking the time. I know you're just getting out of work and everything. Like, again, my focus is the Gen Zs, really. Like, what can we say to them to give them hope, actionable intel? You know what I mean? Like tangible results. A lot of these guys can't change their own oil, bro. Like they can't. Like they're not. Sure. They didn't have dads who taught them life skills.
Right.
They are really good at parsing information. They're very autistic. They're really good at arguing and debating. They have an ability to acquire information very quickly, but they don't have actual functional like make you money skills. Like, right. Yeah, maybe they can write reports or they know how to use AI to do stuff. And like, they could probably do bookkeeping and like kind of basic like office stuff. But realistically, they don't have those social skills. They don't have the ability to sell and do cold calls. A cold call would give them an anxiety attack. Like, they don't have the ability to change their own oil. Like I said, like they don't have a dad who taught them how to hang the blinds in their house. So and then they also have bad credit, probably because they got depressed and just forgot to pay their bills and didn't care. And they probably also don't have anything in the bank because they're living hand to mouth. It's like, we got to start like further back, I think.
Yeah.
With these guys.
I'll be honest. The Gen Z example, which I do believe that there's probably a significant number of people out there. You know what? Not everybody's meant to succeed. And unfortunately, they weren't given the skills to succeed, and it may be too late for them to learn them. Otherwise, they have to suck it up and learn how to do it. The fact that you didn't have a dad to teach you how to change your own oil doesn't stop you when you can literally get on YouTube and watch a video how to do it and learn. And it's interesting because all the Gen Z guys I know, all the actual Gen Z guys I know. Now, I'm going to be honest. Most of them are car guys. A lot of them are former mill. They're .mil, .gov, .something. They're hard chargers, man. They're nothing like what you're describing. Like they're literally they're all about doing a great job and working hard and actually setting up businesses. A lot of them are setting up businesses that don't occur to me because I don't live on I live in an electronic world, but I don't think of electronic business the way they do. And so I don't have that experience with Gen Z that you're describing. I hear the press tell me about it and I hear people talk about it, but I don't have that experience with Gen Z like that. Right.
Well, let's get Marte's take on this, man. Thanks for being patient. We're talking about Gen Z, giving them actionable advice. We're talking about the economy, the buying power of the dollar, how to find real estate. Like, what's your experience and like what kind of information would you impart to these guys?
Well, first of all, good evening.
You're coming in muted.
Introduce myself. I didn't want to interrupt. I didn't even know what this was about. I was kind of lost. But that's such a broad spectrum that you just laid out. This can be like 56 different things that I can say and offer as input. I don't even know where to start. That's such a broad base.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, let's talk, we got these young guys, these Gen Zs, and they're in their 20s and they're looking to get their life going and get themselves out of this loop, this death loop of, work 2 jobs, barely pay the bills, can't save any money. Like, where would you go? What would you say to them if they come up to you like, Marte, I got to get out of this?
I'm going to be honest with them and be upfront with them and tell them it's tough, man. It is tough, but they need to lean into some form of discipline in life. For some reason, nowadays, we have single parent households now, and mostly manned by a lot of these women. And that can be.
Sorry, we lost you there, brother.
Mike just died again.
Yeah, your mic died, brother.
Okay.
I've got you on my end. I know you're not muted on my end, so it just kind of cut out there for a second. You're still out.
Am I still out now?
Yeah, you're still out.
Okay.
Well, Mo, while he's trying to get that mic situated, what's your thought on this? Like, I know you kind of said lean into responsibility there.
Yeah. Well, one practical thing that I can offer that I think is good for young guys is expand your horizons a good bit.
Can you guys hear me now?
So you're in this job, right? You're not making a whole bunch of money.
No.
Still out.
Does let's say you're in Louisiana, right?
Can you hear me?
Does Ohio have a good job? Does Nevada have a good job? Move away. Get out of small town. Get out of your comfort zone, because it's going to do quite a few things psychologically for you too. You're going to be out on your own. You're going to be in a new environment. You don't know anybody there except for maybe the business that you hired on with. You're to quote an old saying, you're kind of creating your death ground, right? You're going to sink or swim, and it's going to mature you quite rapidly taking that approach. And so you can find, if you open your horizons to all the US, you can find a job somewhere that's going to be paying more than what you're making now. And that's hard, right? To leave your comfort zone where you might have family, you might have all this perceived safety nets, but those safety nets can only last for so long. You have to be willing to get out there and forge something for yourself. So I do recommend young guys to move. I think that is a pretty healthy thing for young guys. Move somewhere, find better paying job, and then you can take that high paying job and you have more liquid, save up. You can do some of the things that Grid has talked about here, right? You have that now, suddenly that's within the realm of possibility because you've taken the risk. Life in general does not reward people who don't take a risk. You have to take a risk.
Hey, for people who are just tuning in, we are just a collection of gentlemen talking about traditional values. We started with the halftime show, and it has spiraled from, the culture is being taken from white folks all the way to here's some financial advice on how to get an SBA loan. So, Marte, how's that mic, man? Is there any luck on your end?
Can you guys hear me now?
No, we're still not getting you. I know you're not muted over here. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. But I just feel bad for these guys, for those tuning in. We want to give you actionable solutions. We want to acknowledge the difficulties that
I'm not muted on my end. I know you guys can probably hear me, right? I don't know what's going on their end, because it shows that I'm not muted on my end, on their end. Oh, this is crazy. I just worked and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I just worked a 12-hour day, and I kind of, towards the end of my shifts, I got messages from people on DMs saying that they're still talking shit about me on a different podcast with Dusty and Beth and them. I'm not attacking them, and they're still trying to drag my name. I don't understand why. Why are these guys obsessed with me? I'm never going to go on their panels again because they're rigged, and they keep saying things like, you're too afraid to come up to the panel, when literally all I do is just show up to debates. If I'm afraid, I wouldn't do 1v2 debates against people. Lopsided debates I show up for when it's not in my favor, but somehow I'm afraid to address Beth, and Beth, this is coming from Beth. Beth will say, you're too afraid to come up. and face me. And I'm like, I'm facing 2 guys in a debate next week. I just got through facing 2 guys, 1v2. And it's like, I don't understand where they get this logic from, but just ridiculous, man. I don't understand. And that stuff was like 12 years ago. I did solo content. I didn't do stuff with other men. I didn't do gay shit. So stupid. It's really dumb. These guys. And it's like, here's the thing about this is like, according to them, Christ died for nothing. Baptism doesn't mean anything. So the woman at the well can never find redemption. The woman at the well will never be forgiven. There's no grace for anybody. I've moved on all past that. It's just ridiculous. I'm going to attempt to try to get back on this panel real quick again, because I don't know why I was muted on maybe my whole shit got hacked by somebody that's I'm being attacked by so many different people on panels that I wouldn't be surprised if somebody hacked my computer and it was doing this remotely from somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a tinfoil hat guy right now. Who knows? Get back to it.
Pass the wisdom and the gold down. And so it's interesting to phrase it that way. It's more optimistic. I think a lot of people kind of look at it real nihilistically, where they're like, hey, we had our jobs taken from us from like brown people from some foreign place who are scammers. I didn't get a chance to get a house because like BlackRock and these other places jacked up the rates or whatever. Everything's overinflated from things that had nothing to do with me. So my buying power sucks. Like my education's worth dick, and now I'm working like 2 jobs just to barely get by in some Matchbox apartment that, I can hear my neighbor through the wall. And then they have on top of that, adding insult to injury, they have some old guy like basically condescending to them all the time about how they're just a cupcake and they need to stop eating avocado toast. And it's like, bitch, I've never even eaten avocado toast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, I get where guys like my dad and where Grit are coming from, because I know they're right. I know that their advice works, but there's also a bit of a presentism that where it's specific to a time and a place where it doesn't quite work universally.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second.
Hey, there you are, Marte. We can hear you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
I was going to say, it becomes practical. Looking at it practically, right? Like, what is okay? Even if you grant all that, everything you just said, okay, it's all true, guys. Great. Now what? What is the path forward? What you gonna sit around and just stew in your own nihilism, or are you going to take on that American spirit? The exploring hero's journey. Are you going to go out there and slay that dragon? You have to look at it in practical means. I think if people get too rigid and, well, I want it to work this way, and if it does work this way, then I don't want it. You have to get out of that mindset.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Marte, what are your thoughts, man?
Oh, is it cool? Just wanted to.
Yeah, you're coming in
now, man.
We got you now.
Well, I was going to say before my mic cuts out again, that I would tell them to lean into discipline, because a lot of homes right now do not have that right now. A lot of the male figures aren't present right now. And I would lean into some form of suffering, which is like, if you look at discipline, they're one and the same. They're like cousins to each other. And we need to lean into that. We're so sensitive as a culture where hard work is a foregone thing from the past. And we don't have that. That doesn't exist because laptops and our phones are in front of our faces the whole time. Case in point, not to like conflate things, Grid, by the way, but I just heard the whole panel talk about how maybe I don't work hard and all this other stuff. But it's like, we have to think about this. It's like, there has to be something to be said for work ethic. And here's the thing, though. You can't just work hard for the sake of working hard. We have to look at where we're placing our hard work. Now, I wouldn't tell my son or my future kids to go into colleges and then try to seek into bleeding money into groups where they're not going to see an exchange of interest. Meaning, like, you're not going to get a gender studies degree. You're probably still going to be working as a barista. Even after that, I would actually tell men to lean into discipline and suffering, meaning like the trades, trade work, things like this. I'm going to diesel mechanic school, or anything else. Even if you want to become like a pro athlete, I would tell you not to do what I did, because the less than 1% turn pro. It's really desolate out there. It'll lead you to nihilism unless you have hard work and genetics. But the same thing can be leaned into like even the trades. If you don't have hard work, if you don't know what discipline is, or have like a relationship with suffering, you're not going to produce anything. Like Grid was saying earlier, I was listening on the way here, like even an auto body shop, even paint or anything like this, if you don't understand the discipline of waiting to be in the red for like a period of time or even months before you can even see money come out of this business, like you're not going to understand this because your skin is so thin. We have to be able to tolerate rainy days, and it's not going to happen. So the first thing I tell men is like, you're not going to get the cheat code. If you're sitting behind computers and laptops and you have everything handed to you because you're behind a phone the whole time and you're being fed everything, that's just literally dumbing you down. Get there, get your heart, get your hands dirty, get out there and break your back for a couple hours learning shit, reading books, getting your hands dirty, turning wrenches and doing things actually outside of the home, off of the computer. Not everything should be fed to you through online computer, AI, or whatever this is. Actually get in there and kill yourself or be defeated, fail your way forward if you have to some degree. That's how I did it. That's what I would do, but find a practical solution like blue collar trade work, things like that, that actually have production in the end. Like what Grid was saying, his shop is like an ATM, things like that, that actually have production value, not like a gender studies degree, things like that, but actual real world science. Grid was on the money when he said that. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
I'll say too, there's something that circles back to what I was talking about earlier. Like, I really agree with Grid and Mo that it's probably best to have relationships young, to get married young and have kids young. And one of the reasons why is because nothing will scare you into doing things you don't want to do, like the terror of not being able to take care of your kids. I'll tell you, like for me, for instance, I was very risk averse when I was single and I was in my 20s. And I also was very depressed. You know, I genuinely looked at all the information and I was very good at like thinking things through to their logical conclusion and thinking like 10 steps ahead. And all I saw were negatives. All I saw was negative outcomes. And so what that did is that gave me analysis paralysis. And so for a lot of my 20s, I kind of wasted a lot of time just kind of fidgeting around and like thinking nothing was going to work out. There's no point in taking this risk or trying to invest in this or, you know, going and doing a trade school for that. There was no there's no ROI in it, you know? And so I thought myself, basically I talked myself out of a ton of potential opportunities, and who knows, maybe I would have been right. Maybe it would have all crashed and burned, but I didn't even try. And so I think that there's probably a lot of that too. I think there's a lot of very smart kids who have a lot of information, but they don't just have that good old fashioned get up and go. Like, just try it. You know what I mean? I think they do what I did, where they talk themselves out of things. I don't know. Am I just projecting myself too much onto it, or?
I think a lot of people are just afraid to fail, and I think you should actually lean into some failure sometimes. I don't think it's like when I was growing up, I got into a lot of fights. I grew up in group homes and shelters. I was homeless as a kid at like 12 years old and ran away from his father who liked to beat kids and touch kids when he got drunk, things like that. So the reason why I say that is to say this, like, if you're running from a fight because you're afraid of getting killed, you'll always get killed by anything that tells you it's going to fight. And I grew up with the thought process of thinking Big Ricky's chin is the same size as my chin. What's the worst that's going to happen? Yeah, I mean, you get knocked out, you pass out, you're not going to die. You know, things like, maybe I was a crazy madman, but I think that if we're leaning into things that, and we always think that we're going to die and there's death associated with everything, you're overcorrecting this thing because you've been too sensitized growing up. So I think that when you run towards gunfire instead of away from it, it tends to teach you things like, this isn't going to absolutely kill me. Maybe I'll learn something from this. That's what I mean by discipline and hardship. I think that if we have this and we're risk averse, I think the way to avoid being risk averse is to do the thing that you're afraid of and get used to doing this. Let it kill you several times and realize that you have not more than 9 lives in the end of this. And what you're going to do is become adaptive and become more knowledgeable through failing several times. And I think that that's what we need to. We need to learn how to fail our way to success to some degree, not absolutely, but to some degree. There should be an association with that for sure.
Yeah.
Grid.
Yeah. I
Grid,
mean,
how much did curious Grid, how much did you fail before you kind of got some traction?
I mean, I failed several times to open a shop. You know, and I would generally it was it's never one thing that gets you, right? So there's a thing in aviation that it takes 3 things to kill you, right? you can be tired and the weather can suck, but you know, you can, or pardon me, yeah, you can be tired and the weather can suck it, but the airplane's perfect and you have good, your instruments are great and everything, and you'll make it, right? Or you can be, you could be wide awake and alert, but your instruments could be a little wonky, and it's, you know, maybe it's nighttime, right? And you still get by. Maybe you got a cold and you're a little tired, you know, but that third thing will get you. The engine's not running right. The weather, you know, now it's IMC or whatever. It takes three things to get you. And I think that holds true in life, right? Like you can, and in business, what I found was originally I had the talent to actually make the things happen, to work, right? I was really good at my job. I was really good at my skill level, but I didn't know how to run a business, and I didn't know how to run I knew kind of how to manage people, but I didn't really know how to manage people. And so I failed and I went to work for somebody else. And I was very good for me because I spent time as a mercenary. And that developed me. By mercenary, I meant that I was in race car terminology, I was a guy that was a fly-in guy, right? So you would, like, if you had a race team and you needed a knowledgeable, right, strong cruise guy, you'd hire me. I'd send you over a contract, and I actually made a lot of money doing that. And I could always fall back on that, right? The thing is that here's what people don't do. You have to have something you can fall back on. I had a friend of mine who was an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, and every time he'd go bust, every time he'd run out of money, he'd go to work at a fast food joint, and usually Taco Bell, because he liked the food and he knew he could get lots of hours, right?
Like Bell.
He could get as many hours as he could, right? And he didn't have to pay for food. So, I mean, and literally that was always his fallback. He would go broke. He'd start a business. He would go broke or go almost broke. And he'd go get a job at Taco Bell or whatever, and he would work as many hours as they pay him to show up, and he would and he'd dig himself out of debt or whatever it was, and he'd go right back to. And he was, I mean, I'm sure today he probably owns a multi-million-dollar company. I mean, he had the drive. If he failed, it's not for lack of drive, right? For me, my fallback was always that I had a set of skills that I could market to a very specific group of people that not everybody has, right? Like there were very few people like me. And so I knew that I could always find work. And so taking risk, I never even thought of it as taking risk, right? Like it never crossed that threshold of this is a risk. I could fail. And that's a mindset thing. Like we can get into that another time, but, so the first time I failed, it was no big deal. Just went right back to doing mercenary work. I didn't even miss a beat. I just shut the shop down and kept on rolling. And I ended up, and then a while later, I was like, well, maybe try again. And that time I understood how to do the work. I understood how to run the books and make, how to make it all work. But I didn't really understand how to manage people, manage customers, book in jobs, book out. I really didn't have the overarching business portion of the business down. So I actually went to work for a guy in Colorado. The company still exists today, 3R Auto, 3R Racing. Went to work for them, and during the interview, Bob asked me, "Where do you see yourself? 5 years, 10 years?" I'm like, "Well, in 5 years, I'm going to have another shop. I want to come work for you. I think I can do a great job for you, but I'm 100% honest with you. In 5 years, I'm going to go out on my own. I'm going to have my own shop, and I'm here to learn how to run a shop. You run one of the best shops in the country, and I'm here to learn from you." And that was actually my strategy. The way that I got to where I was, kind of teeing off of what Marte said, is I originally ran movie theaters. That was my job in college. So I ran movie theaters. And I had a really good idea, I understood how to do that. but I enjoyed racing. And so I went to work for a race team, and I was willing to literally live in the shop. Race shops have showers generally. And I literally lived in the shop. I slept in a sleeping bag on the floor in a spare room, spare office. And I took a shower at the shop. I went out to eat every meal because they didn't have anywhere, didn't have a lunchroom or anything. And I lived in the shop. I had no rent, no nothing. I was just stacking cash, and they allowed me to do that because I'm very talented at what I do. And I would work for 12, 13, 14 hours a day, no problem. And
well, yeah, that's excellent. The only reason I'm cutting you off is because I kind of want to put a hard stop on this. We're going about 4 hours and 30 minutes. What I'd like to do, though, especially since Marte didn't get a chance to talk too much, is I'd like everybody to kind of give their final piece of parting advice to close out this stream. You just pick something short and sweet that you can say to encourage these young Gen Zs who are really struggling right now, be it financially, spiritually, politically, the whole shebang. Just kind of pick something you think you want to hone in on for them. And I'll start, and then we'll kind of move to Grid, then Mo, and then we'll let Marte have the final word on it. The thing I would say is if you get the spiritual stuff in order, that will tell you your purpose in this life, and it will make the suffering bearable. So regardless of whether you fail or succeed based on anybody's arbitrary standards of what that means, or what time you live in, or what country you happen to be in, or what income bracket, whatever, whether you're starving on the side of the road and you're doing the best you can with begging, or if you're actually some Nepo baby with a platinum spoon born in his mouth and you have unfathomable wealth, either way, you're going to have to deal with a lot of hardship in this life. And the most important thing is your salvation. So if you can get that part right, the other stuff doesn't quite matter as much, and it will become part of the journey that it'll be salvific for you. The struggles, the pains, the financial turmoil, all that stuff will be part of the allocated suffering that God gives you to help you find your way. And if you look at it through that lens, no matter what challenges you face, they are not insurmountable because they were there for you. They were designed for you. And so just try to keep your chins up, try to stay focused and on that path, the royal path, we would call it. And really just remember that even the worst days, you are not alone. Let's go to Grid.
Yeah. So the piece of advice I would always give is that the only person who decides when you quit is you. And your mindset, your worldview is very important. And you get to determine that, right? I have no regrets in life. I never have. I haven't since I did a thing in military school. I don't have regrets. I make peace with myself every night, and I'm at peace with the world and my failures. And you will fail. And if you don't fail, you were the only person that never has, right? Or you just didn't try. If you want to improve your lot in life, you have to be willing to improve it. It doesn't just happen. It never has just happened. It's hard work. Sacrifice. There's the word sacrifice is in there for a reason, and I don't know what's more to say. I think that it's I think the world's always been hard, and we have it. This is the easiest world the human beings have ever lived in. To complain about it borders on insanity. That's it.
Mo?
Yeah, I would agree with what you both said there. I would say don't give in to nihilism. It's easy, especially if you're chronically online. Understand that, let's accept everything. Yeah, everything's bad. Everything is working against you. But you have to focus on what you can change, what you can't, and not what you can't. So what you can change is you can move. You can find a higher paying job somewhere else. You can take a risk when you're younger, a little easier. So don't be afraid to fail. Failure is going to happen. It's part of becoming a man, right? So keep that in mind and just understand there's a path forward, and you can get over that hill. You just have to be willing to climb it.
And Marte with the final word, sir.
I mean, it's kind of hard to follow up with all of these good final words, especially yours, Scott. I would say that we should cleave closer towards Christ. I'm going to emulate what you just said, Scott, but kind of say it in my own words and maybe refine it just in my own way. I think that the first thing we should work towards is theosis more than everything else, and then move towards that. Very oftentimes do we put money before everything else, and we'll say, no, I have to think about survival mode before anything else. We have monks on Mount Athos right now that aren't concerned with work, the world, or anything else, and they're doing just fine. We have other people who aren't afraid to be put to the sword, and they'll say, well, I'm not going to renounce Christ, and they'll pass away as martyrs, and they're doing just fine even right now as saints. So we have to think about this. You can have a fear of death when it comes to things, and we can have a fear of even metaphorical death when it comes to certain things, like this whole adverse thing to fear. You're going to close doors on yourself and also opportunities for other people, because they're going to look at you as an outlet or even a redemptive example of things. Because that's one thing we can't do, is tuck and run when it comes to certain things and have fear. I'm going to share one last thing to you right now, and you can put it on the screen if you want to. We open doors for plenty of different people and even ourselves, right? So when it comes to this, it's like I have plenty of friends in the industry. This is one of the clients I work with. Craig Robinson has came out here last month. I did work on him. You can also take it off screen if you want to. But these are many things that Grid has hinted on as well. That guy was in the Hot Tub Time Machine. He was also in The Office and stuff. Craig's good people. But here's the thing, though, is like, in order to actually open more doors, sometimes you have to open up 10 different doors. And like the guy talked about, Grid talked about, the guy who worked for Taco Bell. I'm a licensed myopractic. I do low voltage work. I do everything else. So it's like, I have probably 12 things to fall back on, including like construction. And I know how to do tiling, grafting, all this other stuff. It's like, and I have 2 state board licenses, all this. These aren't accolades. And this isn't like me saying, well, I have all this other stuff. No, these are like escapes. So if something gets set on fire, I have 8 doors to escape to should, something get set on fire, so that way I can get over this hump or whatever that is, should I need to do this. But a lot of people, they'll say, well, there's nothing else to fall back on. So Grid brings up a good point. It's like, I don't care if you have to humble yourself down to do Taco Bell or construction work or low voltage work or anything else. It's like, you have to understand that we have to prepare for the worst no matter what happens. And the number one thing that I would say is Christ has to support all this. And I'm not preaching. I'm not like some evangelist. I'm just saying that unless you're walking towards theosis, you're always going to be living in survival mode no matter what. And you'll never be a martyr. You'll never be the person. You're just going to operate in fear. And I think in order to not live in fear, Christ has to be at the back of all this. And then we can start building from then. But I think that people have it the opposite way, and they turn into materialists. That's all I'm saying.
Well said, guys. I appreciate all your inputs. Thanks for all your advice. And thank you guys for taking the time to be on the stream. It's been really good. Like I said, I kind of got pulled into this kicking and screaming by my wife, but she can be very compelling. And if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to spend the hours on here talking into this microphone and the camera and building an audience, I want to help them. I want these younger guys to feel like they have some hope. I want to be for them what I kind of wish that my non-existent mentors were for me when I was coming up. And so I would like to get to a point where I can give them really great actionable intel, really good, kind of attaboys and pats on the back and encouragement, and also some good corrections. And so, hearing from you guys as well is extremely useful. So thank you guys so much for contributing to the stream. I'm going to finally get out of here and go spend some time with my wife. The rest of you, I hope you have a great Valentine's Day with your various respective Valentines. And, we'll see y'all next time.
I'll still be on if anybody wants to come over to the stream. I'm going to be on for about 30 more minutes. So, but yeah, you guys take care. Christ is God.
All right. Christ is God. Good night, gentlemen.
Night.
Good to see you, gents. Yep. Night. All right, man. Didn't even get enough. V1C fan. I love it. The V1C fan. It's so hilarious. I can't believe she calls him V1C. That's so freaking hilarious, man. Crazy, man. We have to cleave towards Christ. I think that's like the number one thing we have to do. I just dealt with hearing a stream that just talked trash about me for like 3 hours. It's crazy, but I can't really focus on that. I can't do that because that's bad for my soul. That's bad for my spirit to keep going back to the panelverse, to keep having to correct things and address those guys. I don't understand. But they say I keep bringing it up, but every time I turn around, I'm getting messaged about somebody talking about me. I'm used to this actually. So when I was going to compete and I'm getting back into pro athletics, my name is being brought up. So whenever I was going to compete and do like the Europa, do like another pro show or compete in a powerlifting competition or something like that, my name kind of buzzed around a little bit. But now it's like weird now. Now my name gets buzzed around a bit, but it's like in a negative thing about something I did 12 years ago and it's just bad. I'm trying to work to change that to where that's why on Monday, we're having like 3 celebrity guests show up on the podcast. I am getting back into pro athletics so that way they could talk about that. My name can be spoken about in light because of all that stuff. So yeah, it's just insane. I'm not going to attack Dusty. I'm not going to attack Beth or even Orthodox guy and stuff. I still don't. I haven't. Because that's not my MO. They'll tell you that I attack women. I don't attack women. That's not what I do. I don't attack them at all. This all started off because I just asked Marilyn questions, this woman on a panel. And because I asked her questions when everybody else was personally attacking her, somehow I'm attacking her. I don't understand why. And now my past is being dragged through the mud. I'll clear this up one last time. I've never done anything with a guy before. Never happened. That's gross. It is gross. And I'll say this on my stream. I don't care who gets offended. If you are a homosexual and you're gay, unfriend me, unsubscribe now. I don't want anybody subscribed to me that's actively gay or embraces the LGBTQ lifestyle or gay or anything like that. Because I will never be friends with anybody that's gay. That's a fact. If I find out that you're in my circle and you're gay, that changes the nature of our relationship. You can't be my friend. I don't care who you are. The same thing, like if the Orthodox Church, they gave me a pamphlet. And when you get this pamphlet, it says, you can't be practicing gay and then be in the church. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't have ideology that opposes the church and then get into the church. It's not going to happen. So why would I befriend you if you are a gay person? Why would I? You know what I'm saying? Why would I befriend anybody like that? To me, it just doesn't make any sense. Just crazy. I don't go around attacking women. Matter of fact, can anybody tell me if you've ever heard me to tell a woman to shut the fuck up? Have I ever told a woman this? Have I ever called a woman a bitch on a podcast or a bitch in a debate? Or have I ever called a woman a bitch on a panel even? Have I ever told a woman on a panel to shut the fuck up or talk to her like this? I don't talk to women like this. I never talk to women like this on panels. What I did do is ask if they have proof and evidence and things like this. What I do is face my accusers like anybody else and ask them if they have evidence, if they're going to slander my name. But because I asked for, proof, evidence, and things like this, now I'm like a bad guy because I apparently attack women because of that. It's just crazy. I don't think that the slander on my name, I don't think I've ever done anything to warrant the slander that is being done to me. Not even a fraction of it to justify what they are doing. It just doesn't make any sense, to be honest with you. Yeah, but let me go ahead and bring this up real quick. The image file. Where's this thing at? So yeah, I am a licensed, a state board licensed myopractic. Craig Robinson's one of my friends. Some guy was saying, "Oh, you mean Daryl?" I'm just like, yeah, he's a really cool guy. somebody that I do work on. So really good people. But I was also the therapist for the 2024 U.S. Olympic team out here too. So I'm a state board licensed myopractic, and I also do structural integration bodywork. That's what I do. I did also graduate from the Arizona School of Massage Therapy. I'm a master body worker, but I don't do like massage per se. I do body work. So I'm a human body mechanic. That's what I do. So that's what I did for the U.S. Olympic team. That's what I did. I've met a lot of athletes. I've met a lot of UFC fighters doing this. A lot of stuff like this. Crazy stuff. Where is this? Crucible Crusader says, brings up a good point. I didn't read all of it, but I'm going to read it. Marteo is on the extreme. When you and Andrew Wilson talked about this way back, you said you're saying it. They will keep going on about it if you let them. Yes, I know. If I jump on their panels, because I heard Beth say, you're too scared to jump on the panel with me. She'll say this, right? She'll say, you're too scared to jump on the panel with me. I heard her say this tonight. Hey, let me get this straight. If I'm too scared to jump on a panel with a woman, this is the logic. I was a federal agent. I dealt with really bad guys. I've been assaulted numerous times as an agent, dealt with really bad guys who are doing sex trafficking, and these are really bad guys. I'm a pro athlete that competes and does powerlifting against guys way bigger than me from other nations in Russia that want to destroy me because I have the USA flag on my back. I'm not afraid of those guys. I do debates where it's a handicap match, me versus two people. I'm not afraid to do that. I'm not afraid to be in law enforcement, to be shot at, maybe not even come home to a family at the time, things like that. I'm not afraid to be in circles with people who have way more high profile names than me, rub elbows and do all that stuff. I'm not afraid to do, there's a lot of things that I've done in my life where it's like, if I'm not afraid to do, I've done 2 cage fights in my life. I got my ass beat in one of them, and then won one of them. So I've done a lot of things in life where it's like, but I'm not afraid to get on a virtual panel where nobody can physically get hurt. I don't understand where this fear would be at for me. I don't understand what I've done in my life where it's like there's been some cowardice that I've done. Like if I've had enough fear to not show up on a panel with a woman, I would have never done any of the things that I've done in my life. I would have never been in law enforcement for 13 years if I was too afraid to meet a woman on a panel. Mind you, meeting somebody on a panel is like the least scariest thing you could do. You can't physically get hurt. All you're going to do is hear bad things. That's it. I was literally in the same room with the cartel member when he wasn't handcuffed. I worked in the correction system for, 3+ years with people on a level 5 yard with no weapons, outnumbered. I've literally unhandcuffed and unarrested violent people while being told by my director to unhandcuff them after this person was violent. Special circumstances. I can explain why later, but I've been in all these situations where it's like I wasn't afraid to do any of that stuff, but I'm afraid to be on a panel. This is literally the logic. Crazy stuff. So yeah, I don't really understand any of this logic. So crazy stuff, and Crucible Crusader brings up a good point too. I'm too afraid to get on a panel, but I literally jumped on panels where it's like me versus 9 people from the panelverse. I've done that. So I really don't get the logic. And then they'll say, well, Marte is gay because he did solo porn content. Okay, cool. Yeah, I did it. I did solo content. I never did anything with a guy. That's gross, by the way, too. That's gay as hell. I don't understand it. So all these accusations. And then here's the thing though. They'll say Marte cheated with Grok. There was some guy, I forgot his name. He got on the panel tonight. He said, well, Marte cheats with everything. He cheated with Grok. Well, then he said he probably cheated as an athlete. Well, I'll even tell you this: the guys that I'll have on the panel podcast Monday, one of them has like 1 million followers. And I don't understand this. If you give everybody steroids, like you drop a box of steroids and growth hormone to all these houses, there would still be less than 1% of people turning pro. Why? Because you can't cheat your way to become a pro athlete in one sport, let alone 2 pro world-class sports. You can't cheat your way to being a pro athlete, because what's going to happen is these people are the elite and they will destroy you. You will get destroyed by the elite at that level repeatedly, and they'll show you why you don't belong in the league. I'm in 2 different leagues. Like, I will get annihilated, even on the national level, if I just cheat. And mind you, it's even if you try to cheat your way to being a pro athlete, you're not going to be a pro athlete. Genetics will hamper your performance, and also discipline will hamper your performance. You actually also have to have talent too. You can't cheat talent. Like you can't. There's no cheat code for talent. There's no cheat code for genetics and stuff. That claim was made on their end. Like they said, well, he probably cheated his way to being a pro athlete and all this stuff. Hey, what's up, Grid? Yeah, I'll bring a link up. I'll put it in the chat. Where is this? My thing's messing up. All right. Yeah, here goes the link. Grid's good faith, so I'll bring him up. But I'm not going to be on their panels. Like, if they have a panel and it's a bunch of drama and stuff, like I don't attack them. I'm not attacking Beth. I don't attack Dusty or any of these people. Hey, man, what's up, Grid?
Not much, man. How are you?
Good. I caught some of that when I was ending my workday. Part of my workday was like I'm finishing up at a forest school, helping kids out build their gym.
Yeah, I heard that.
To teens and stuff. Well, they told me that it's virtue signaling if I do this, and then they made some comments saying that I'm the rights also assigning trans people, and I'm just like, man, there's nothing you can ever do. There's no grace they'll ever show you. There's no forgiveness. Christ died for nothing. My baptism, man. Like, it's like, I get it. Like, they'll never let off. And Dusty also admits, I'm never going to stop doing this. And I'm just like, well, I don't really care. Why? I'm not going to feed the monsters anymore. So, and show up on their panels.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't understand. I don't get the kind of vitriol they have for you. I keep waiting for someone to define it for me, and so Beth put up a video where you had kind of called her out a little bit, but I didn't think there was anything to it. And I think she pretty much admitted that it wasn't that bad. And I really don't know. Right. And I don't know if you rolled back through where I talked about it, but they're really hung up on a couple of different things. And it seems like, that they for some reason think that you lie. They think that you, a bunch of other stuff. And I said, I could go along with, I think sometimes, Marte's personalities, there's some arrogance there, or some comes off as kind of overly aggressive to some, maybe, I don't know. And, I told him, like, look, but what does that got to do with anything? I'm aggressive often. Like, what? I mean, nobody really talks shit about me, but it just seems like something with you, and then the whole thing about you telling them I don't know. It's a very interesting dynamic. And you'll need to look at it. Cause I kind of, I said, look, I never, I just don't see where they just, let up on you. And I told him, I said, if you call a grown ass man gay literally calling him gay, not like, for example, I used, I said, if I call Vibe gay, it's just, like, hey, Vibe, your haircut looks gay. He's not really going to react to that, right? Not gonna. He'll be like, fuck you, whatever. but they've literally spent a month and a half now.
It's been 8 months, actually. 8 months. But that's the thing, though.
It's literally calling a grown ass man gay. Like, that's insane to me. Like, this is insanity to me. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just too old school for this deal, but and then it's I don't know. There's a bunch of, you should go back and look at what I said, because I'm like, I don't understand where you guys are coming at from this. I guess my biggest problem is I can't steel man their argument. Like, and I really tried, I've really tried to steel man their position on you. The worst that I can come up with is they believe you lie. Okay, fair enough. They believe
and they
again, I don't know. I don't care. People can believe whatever they want to believe. I know you care, but the thing is that people can believe whatever they want to believe, right? Like, they don't. And no matter. And I think in your position, I think that no matter what you say, it's going to be twisted in a way that to feed that notion that they have, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say. It's like they were saying, well, they were making a big deal about the fact that you said, go find one example of me being gay. As that of you, they literally were saying that is you saying, hey, go look at my gay ass picture. Like, it's two totally different things. And this is one of the, like I said, I could not steel man their argument. The best I could come up with is Marte is can be aggressive and can be or seem to be what's the word I used? A little bit arrogant. And, that kind of, which is okay, but that's not a good argument, right? Like, that's not for what's been going on. Unfortunately, I went on Scott's about the same time Flow State came on, so he never really made his case to me. But I don't understand it. I don't understand why. Beth is, I don't know what her real position is. I think that I think Beth doesn't like you, and I think that Beth I think Beth just doesn't like you. So, for whatever reason,
I actually don't know why Beth doesn't like me. On your panel, this all started with, it didn't just start with Marilyn. Then this has been like 8 months ongoing, where it's like, and all I've said in the comments is like, hey, knock it off, stop that, knock it off, this and that. And it's like, what happened though is like I think 6 months ago, Grid, I was talking to a woman, and, we were like dating for 2 weeks, and then she was like, I never got into debate content or anything like that. She started snooping around online and said, oh, this Sarah girl. And I think they were starting to talk about me. Somebody brought somebody up. And in the comments, Marilyn was like, oh yeah, Marte's gay or something like that. And then that started a whole conversation. So this woman came to me.
I kind of remember that. I think that was on my show. And I think that she came up and, she was basically.
Right. But this is what happened, though, and this woman that I was dating for 2 weeks had said, hey, you never told me about any of this stuff. And this happened in your past. And she was like, obviously, you're hiding it from me. She was like, that's it. We're not talking or whatever. I was like, what the hell? Like, so it's like, all right. And then now it's like, I just signed a sports contract with somebody out there in California, a Christian company. Well, I mean, it's not a Christian company, but she owns a business. And it's like, and then I have people who are Orthodox that follow me and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, if he's actively practicing being gay, it's like, come on, man. Like, so it's like, this is reputation destruction for 8 months.
Sure.
That affected my personal life and dating life and all this. And I'm like, so do I have to pay for this? Something that happened 12 years ago, ongoing for the next 20 years? Because Dusty himself has admitted, he's like, I'm not going to stop. And I'm like, why am I being punished for something that I've repented for already and came out. And I'm like, I've never done anything with a man before. It's never happened. Like, it's gross. And I'm just like, well, I'm tired of it. So 8 months of this. On your panel, what happened though, because I don't have DMs to Marilyn, I took her off social media and stuff like that. And I saw it on the panel and said, hey, I'm just going to ask her questions and have her, be held account for these accusations. Do you have proof in all this? And then I never attacked her. I never attacked Beth personally. I never attacked Dusty personally. All I've done was ask questions. And now I'm the person who's the attacker, not Avarice, not Jay Var, not anybody else who really attacked her, just me. I don't understand.
Well, I think, just so Avarice and Maryland have some like back and forth that's kind of, it's weird, but I guess it kind of works for them, right? And, so they're serious but not serious or whatever. And the thing is that as near as I can tell, right? Like look, again, I can't steel man their argument. I don't really understand the issue that everybody has. I don't, and I don't really, don't take this the wrong way. I really don't care. Other than that, it's a massive fucking distraction from the other shit I'm trying to do. And, because it's literally like you can't come on my panel without it being somebody all of a sudden have to talk about how you're a closet gay or 10th man said this or, what the fuck ever, like it's crazy. Like, so that's kind of where my interest kind of starts and ends, right? Like I look, and I actually asked him, I'm like, what? So why do you care if Marte is even if he's gay and in denial, why do you care? Like you're not even Christian. Why do you care? Like why do you care? And, now Beth, obviously, isn't part of that, but you need to go watch the whole thing, or not the whole thing, but from where I come on till, and it's only like 15 minutes or so, but it's, I just don't know why. I mean, look, do I think that you're like, without, responsibility here? No, I don't. I think, your personality is such, and the way that you say things sometimes, I think can set people off, but that is a small thing, Marte. That's very small. And you don't even have to make a big deal about it. Right. Like, I don't get it, man. Like it's pretty nuts to me.
I don't think I've ever done anything to warrant the personal attacks for such a long time. And as personal as they are, I don't think there's anything I've done to them to warrant this.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I'll agree. I'll go one further than that. I don't understand. Well, this is, if it were me, right? I'm not, but if it were me, I would literally be like, Dust. I would get Dusty in Discord or whatever and be like, hey dude, what the fuck? Like, I'm trying to do my thing over here. What is your deal? Right. Now I understand he's got some like,
but Grid, real quick,
he's got some bone to pick with you where he feels like you ran from him for the debate or, whatever. I don't know.
But Grid, I'll say this right now. I would actually handle this in Discord with Dusty on a personal level. The only problem with this is I don't trust the man that puts out hit pieces on me. For the last 5 months,
Sure.
He's put out hit pieces on me, and I've never attacked him up until then. So when Beth said I made a diss track and stuff, this was after I've tolerated this for like 8 months, and then it's like I finally hit back. And now all of a sudden it's like not even, it's for not, but I feel like if I did like a Discord conversation with him, I'd hear about this being recorded and it'd be used against me and it'd be a hit piece. I don't trust him. That's what would probably happen. I feel like he would do something like that.
Yeah. I mean, so that's all right. So I would do that because I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you, man. If I were, if I were in your shoes right now, I would literally just ignore them, starve them for air. I mean, and look, Dusty actually did kind of the same thing with me way back when, not quite as much. And it was, like, and it took I literally ignored him for like 6 months. Like, I didn't respond to him, and we ended up, kind of, he started coming into my chat and was like, just say, hey, what's up? And, we ended up kind of squashing everything, and we've been cool ever since. I actually consider the problem I'm having right now is that, the same problem I had, with Andrew. Like, I consider Dusty a friend, and I can, but Andrew is obviously like, if it ever came push or shove, it's going to be Andrew, not Dusty. Not that, Dusty's cool in certain ways. I just don't understand I really don't get his like beef with you. And I haven't asked him about it.
Well, I wouldn't.
The whole thing is childish as fuck. And I think I pretty much said so tonight. I think it's really stupid. I don't understand how they think calling a grown ass man gay, not calling you gay, again, not just kind of rhetorically like I would with Vibe, or, or hey man, your hat looks gay or whatever. Yeah, like actually saying that you're a homosexual. I don't know any grown ass man that would take that, like, without, losing their cool. Well, maybe laugh it off a couple of times, but if they kept doing it, I'd be pretty fucking pissed, Yeah,
it's affected my personal life, like I was saying. And then here's the other thing too, is like, the moment I question anybody about this, do you understand like the precedence it sets when Sarah says, oh, what's wrong with it? I made you a gay reindeer. You shouldn't be upset about this. It's like, well, if nobody ever pushed back when it came to being called a homosexual, this sets a bad precedence. That means the Johnny Depp situation, Johnny Depp was not a victim then, apparently. And then anybody else, it's like, and Sarah had this idea. She had said something, and I even then I'll still never attack Sarah. What I said was like, you did this, and then she said, well, I told you to eat a dick, and then she said he just got mad because of that, because I said it's the context. People won't live this gay thing down, and I'm just like, you guys keep, and then they say, well, Marte brings it up. He keeps bringing it up. I didn't bring up the gay reindeer thing. I didn't bring up Marilyn in the comments calling me gay for months. I didn't bring up 10th Man doing this and dragging this out for months. It's like, I'm not the one doing this. When I combat it, then it's like I'm the bad person because I push back against this. It's like everybody has a threshold. I have a thick skin, actually. I'm not that reactive. Because I did hear the stream. I'm not as reactive as people think I am. I'm just competitive when it comes to certain things. So that may look like I'm kind of arrogant to some degree because I come from a very competitive arena.
You've got different mannerisms than they're used to. The mannerisms that you use in the online world kind of, give off the signal of being angry or which you probably aren't, just kind of focused and intense. But there's, it's a lot of
I never get angry, man. I've still they say I attack women. I've never called a woman a bitch online. I've never called a woman on a panel to shut the fuck up. That's literally been said about me. Like Orthodox guy says, Marte tells women to shut the fuck up. When do I ever do this? I never talk down to women. I don't curse them out or anything.
Well, and that's questions. And look, I wanted to see the film clip because Beth made a big deal about the way that you told her that she should submit to all men or something, like, I forget what it was.
I never made the statement that all women should submit to all men. I've never said that. That's never been said.
Mm-hmm. Uncle Fatty makes a good point. Like, first, do not play the victim, just own it. Embrace the narrative. Why do we care what some asshole on the friggin' internet thinks about us? Yeah, he makes a good point there. And, but again, I see where you are unhappy about it. I see why they are coming. I mean, actually, I don't see why they're coming after you, but I understand their stated reasoning for coming after you. I don't agree with it. I just understand it.
Like, why would you say you understand the why?
I mean, in their mind, you're a liar. You have you run, you cope, you take shots from the sidelines, you talk shit, and then you cry foul.
How do I do any of this stuff though? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I asked tonight if any of them could steel man their argument to me. Beth started to and couldn't really get it done. And then, I mean, just look back on it. I asked them to steel man the argument because I can't steel man their argument, right? Like I really can't steel man their position. Their position seems to be is they don't like you because they don't like your face.
Yeah, I can't steel man their argument either.
I'm not even trying to be flip about that. I literally believe that they just don't like you because they don't like your face. They don't like the way you talk to people. They don't like this, which is look, hey, that's totally fair. It's totally okay to not like people.
I agree. Yeah, it's okay.
Because they don't like your face. It's totally fair if they think you're an arrogant asshole. That's totally fair.
That's fine. They can have an opinion. I don't mind that because you're like, here's the thing though, Grit, I'll be even straight up with you. If they had an opinion and they said Marte's a horrible debater, he doesn't debate worth crap, I'd be like, yeah, okay. We all have like sports players and stuff like that we don't like because, we don't like Dennis Rodman because of his attitude, things like that. But to call somebody a name and call him a homosexual, that's very personal. And then if it affects my personal life and it, is reputation destruction of my life and character assassination to some degree, I'm like, that's an overstep too far. For as long as in consistent it has been, I had a breaking point. So I punched back and now I don't know. It's like, I'm not even allowed to address my accusers. I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, you could just welcome Dusty on anytime, let him rant or whatever, and then just kind of let it roll. Just let it go.
I did one time. I welcomed him on, and there were a bunch of trolls that came on and tried to deplatform my channel. But here was the other thing that happened too. When I did welcome him on, he said he's not going to stop and never gave me a reason why. He said because I can't. So I'm like,
also understand that content is the product here, right? So it is what it is.
Yeah, that's crazy though.
So what was that last debate you did? I'm trying to remember because I had some like I can picture you debating. I can't pick. It wasn't First Amender. It was
First Amender was the last one, and then the one before that, it was like a Wick. I think I debated Wick.
Yeah, right? Yeah, Wick. Yeah, yeah. Wick was an interesting debate. I wish I'd written down because I had some thoughts on that. I think you did okay, but you let him. You let Wick. You let Wick be Wick too much, and you got
my microphone was. I had a lot of
your microphone was messing up, and
that's why.
Yeah. So Wick has this habit of he'll make shit up, and if you don't fact check him and call him on it, it just becomes a narrative. And then even if you do call him on it, he'll pivot, and he's just saying shit to say shit. And he asked you for sources, and when you couldn't produce them, that was a problem. But
because my computer had shorted out, and my so if you looked on my chat. Like I couldn't receive messages because there was some.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. So that also destroyed some of the bookmarks that I had for the debate. So I had to run on the top of my head.
Well, it was fine.
It messed up. And my
that wasn't a big deal. So like, I'm trying to think back because I had some comments I wanted to make.
It was a fun debate though. Regardless,
Yeah, it was fun. And it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't really. It went exactly the way I thought it would because Wick wants to come off as if he is very reasonable and what he's saying is true and factual. The problem is that he generally is not. being 100% factual.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think of what.
Just to address the grok issues, like I came out with that and then I did the apology. They said that was manufactured. But here's the thing though, is like, then we would have to say the WIC debate was manufactured when I couldn't pull up notes, when all my computer was acting up, when my mic issue was acting up. It's like, I did fairly well in that. But then I asked them to pull up the Jubilee debate where I was debating the billionaire when I couldn't have a phone in front of my face, when I couldn't have anything. And instead of listening to the argument where I was destroying this billionaire, they were just like, talking about how gay I look. And I'm like, see, that's the thing. It's like, I just.
Oh, is that over earlier tonight?
Yeah. After you left, they brought up the Jubilee debate. I said, well, bring up the Jubilee debate where I didn't have grok or anything. I destroyed that guy, Brian Johnson. And it's like, instead of talking about how I can function on my own without having to use tech, they just talked about how gay I looked. And I'm like, see, this is why it's
so
stupid. Yeah.
What you allowed WIC to do is you allowed WIC to spin a narrative, and you weren't really punching back on it enough, right? So like
I couldn't. My microphone was
that was terrible. But WIC was talking about who could convict who and who did this and who did that, and especially about the warrants. The thing is that he's got it in his head that the administrative warrants were not legal, but yet they are actually
they're all
legal.
signed off.
They're all signed off.
They get distributed. I already knew that, but I couldn't talk because my mic, every time he kept over talking me, my mic shut off.
Yeah. And
so
he was wrong about the so he was wrong about the Border Patrol and ICE were arresting people for obstruction. What they do is they detain people, and the local police arrest them for obstruction because the feds can't do. I mean, that's not what they do.
Well,
every single person. They also weren't grabbing. He specifically said that they were grabbing people off the street, and that's
false.
That's been debunked so many times. Like, why would he say that? It's absolutely been debunked over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Every single person they go after has a warrant. They're not a blanket task force. They are a directed weapon. And the problem is that now it is true. The claim can be made that if they go over and they're arresting Juan Montoya, and and Juan Valdez is standing next to him, and Juan Valdez looks like he might have a warrant, they will detain Juan Valdez until they figure out whether he's got a warrant. But that's not an arrest.
Yeah, it's not an arrest. Yeah.
So, and that's perfectly within their purview. They're not breaking any laws, and so when he's saying that they're arresting U.S. citizens, I thought that was he never did provide any proof of that. He just made the statement.
That's so false.
Yeah,
and I couldn't rebuttal it like I usually do because I think my mic's working now, but I just got it fixed.
Yeah, it sounded like you had a bad cable or something was going wrong the other night. So
so that's why I couldn't punch back like I wanted to, especially when it came to him saying this. And it's like, in order for us to arrest somebody, we have to have a solid case. I sat in many briefings where it's like we have a case file built up, like known aliases, people that they know, they stay at their own time, all this stuff. Like,
yeah, it's just what he does is he does a standard issue thing of saying that, and look, literally every lefty debater has done the same thing. Everybody, if you're debating a lefty, what you need to remember is they're going to give you this ICE is arresting these people. No, first of all, ICE doesn't actually arrest anybody. They seize people under warrants, and then they take them in.
We have to have
they don't read the Miranda rights. There's no court. There's no arraignment afterwards. They are seizing. Now they're arresting you technically, because that's what we use that word for, but they're not arresting you like a police officer arrests you. There's no due process. Once ICE has you, there's no due process, baby. Like, that's done. Like that's over.
I told him that last night. I said, if there's a physical altercation, or even if I come up to you, I don't have to Mirandize you. Right. If I'm taking you into custody, because you're not a U.S. citizen for once. And then not to mention this, but if you pose a threat and you've violated like a 13-year-old, like the one in Operation Metro Surge, we can literally take you, detain you. And then not to mention that, but a lot of people don't know the process of unarresting people as well, too. There's so much in this that a lot of liberals don't know.
Uncle Fatty, I really want to see video of people, random American citizens being asked for papers. I want to see that video. I've asked multiple times for video of this, and nobody's ever sent it. I've heard this stated in multiple debates that this is happening, and yet there's no video. No.
Yeah, I'd love to see evidence of this as well too.
You cannot tell me that. You cannot say that and not provide something other than so. And
if a federal agent arrests you, they have to build a solid case. If you notice, like in the Renee Good case, where the guy was walking around with a phone camera, it's because he's documenting all of this, including the license plate, positioning in the vehicle, all this, because all of that has to be submitted to court. Because in order for us to build a solid case and actually have a case, it's usually close. And if the feds got you in their chokehold, yeah, chances are it's going to be 97% you're going to be guilty, because the case is so still case. It's almost open and shut, because we have to build so much data and information, collect all this, that's where we're aiming for. So what we have to do is build all this data and collect all that. So that's why the agent was walking around the vehicle to collect more data. He was filming all this, filming everything that led up to this, so that when we do have an active investigation, we have all this to present.
Right. So the other point, I lost it. Where'd it go? There it is. Then the other bad argument that Wick kept making was that he was treating ICE as if they're cops.
No, they're not cops at all.
But they're not. They're not doing investigations. They're serving warrants. They don't. ICE generally, I think there is an investigative branch of ICE, but in general, your average ICE guy is not investigating shit.
There's still fact finding that goes on, though. That's not to say in lieu of, but still, we're going out and we literally know who we're getting. Mm-hmm. So that's really what it is. It's not like we don't know who we're getting before we leave briefing.
But basically, Wick is trying to use the kind of First Amendment auditor obstruction kind of defense against ICE, as if what they're doing is that it's okay to do certain things because ICE is doing an investigation, but they're not actually in general doing an investigation. They're simply serving on a warrant, and they're looking for a very specific person.
They're targeted. And that's the point.
Yes.
Like they're targeted.
I'm going to look, since I've been challenged, I'm going to look and see.
Well, that's the difference between this administration and last one. We have actually more targeted, I would say, arrests that are happening now. And the operations that we're doing are more targeted than the previous two administrations before us. And I think the success rate is higher, but he couldn't the burden was on him to prove that it was a negative. He couldn't do this. He gave sparse circumstances, but overall, he said, well, NIS can replace them, but still, that's not a net negative.
I'm looking right now for this video of ICE asking random people for papers. I'm literally searching that.
Yeah, that's an accusation for Border Patrol. That's a whole different agency. That's you could probably point that at, but not ICE or HSI.
All right, let me unmute this. All right, hold on. I got to get the whole context here. Oh, wait. So this is the video where these Border Patrol officers are looking for somebody, it looks like. So for some reason, they contact this woman. They're not randomly doing it. They're literally contacting this woman for some reason. And they ask her for an ID, and she decides not to do it. Which federal agent is not a cop. Just saying that.
There's nothing wrong with asking for
find one. I did find one, but it's not what they're talking about.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with asking for ID either. So I mean, I don't get what the problem is with that. So,
well, there is a problem. All right, so there's a problem with it, right? So the First Amendment auditors will go out and they and when a regular law enforcement officer interacts with you, you have they can conduct what's called a Terry stop, and they can ask you a few things. But if they don't have a suspicion, a reasonable, articulable suspicion that you may or may not be committing a crime, they can't ask you for ID unless it's a stop and ID state.
What I'm referring to is like if you are providing some kind of obstruction, or they suspect that you are harboring a criminal, or there may be maybe some ulterior motive that you're hampering, and you can articulate that in the paperwork. Like, yes. For sure.
Yeah, but okay, that's more for cops. A federal agent that's conducting a very specific narrow search. Let me look.
I've done that on the job. If I felt like somebody was hampering, like if they were harboring somebody, sure, I would be like, hey, yeah, I've done that before. So, like if you were hiding somebody that we were basically looking for, I'd be like, hey, who are you? Like, do you have like, and I'd say, okay, well, how do I know that you're the aunt of this? Like, things like that. And all that leads to is like, okay, well, cool. I don't know if you're this person or not. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
but there's always a specific reason why we have to articulate that in paperwork as to why we're doing something.
Yeah. So there's a couple of it's a touchy thing with ICE. This is I could see where people get bent about this. So ICE agents are allowed to stop and briefly question someone in a public place if they have a reasonable suspicion the individual is a non-citizen of the United States. By the way, your skin color could be could rise to the level of reasonable suspicion. But in general, they cannot just stop and demand ID for someone without, like I'm almost dark enough where it'd probably be a problem. Marte is in danger, right? Like if somebody stopped Marte and said, "Hey, let's see your driver's license, buddy. I want to see if you're a citizen." That's a reasonable suspicion. I could see that. You look like you might have jumped across the border a couple of times. Me, on the other hand, that would be a harder sell, right? Not a lot of people from actually England overstaying their visas here.
Yeah.
And so that part of, but so what an ICE officer, so the ICE thing is interesting because it's mostly about if they think that you're a citizen or non-citizen. They must have a reasonable suspicion that an immigration violation has occurred or is occurring. So, yeah. And actually, ICE has the ability, if you are a legal resident, for example, Marte, if you were from Guatemala and you had a green card, if ICE asked you for the green card, you are legally required to surrender it.
Yeah. Well, not to mention this, but you can have like a temporary citizenship. Like there's a lot of other things as well too. Yeah.
Yeah. So non-citizens, lawful immigrants, lawful permanent residents, and other non-citizens with valid unexpired immigration documents who are over 18 are generally required by law to carry those documents with them. You must provide them if asked. You don't get to hide behind the First Amendment. You don't get to hide behind that. If you are a non-citizen and you are asked for ID, you must give it. If they still think that you're a non-citizen, and if you don't present it and they think that you're a non-citizen, that's going to be bad because it's going to raise to reasonable suspicion.
Well, you're given a privilege, and that privilege is like, I would say, and that depends on whether or not your behavior is like, you're not in our country breaking our laws, things like that. So like we're talking about managing identification, arrest, detention, things like that. But I understand there's like an accumulation, like you have to meet the criteria for certain things. But it's like, that's one thing though, is like you have to do is you have to articulate yourself and articulate why we did what we did. And this is like in almost everything that we've done on paperwork.
Right. Well, all right. So Uncle Fatty, skin color equals profiling. Not always. Dependent upon race. Shit. Tom Holman said straight up that skin color and spoken accent is grounds for questioning. Why would it not be? That, gentleman, is racial profiling. Is skin color the only diametric of your race?
Wait, I have a personal anecdote. I'll tell you. There was one time I was working. I'm
interested in this one. This is good. I like this.
So Grid, I was in briefing one time. I got pulled out of briefing one time, and our lieutenant was talking, and like I got pulled out of briefing and went to administration. And I was like, why am I getting pulled to administration? They put me in a special, like a room that I've never seen before, as long as I worked for the agency. And they made me sit in a chair, and two guys came in suits, and they were like, you fit this profile of somebody, and I'm literally like working for them. They said you fit the profile of somebody that was touching 13-year-old girls or whatever, this and that came across the border and all this. And I was like, what the hell? So this guy brought out a kit, and they like swabbed my mouth. They swabbed my ears. And then they said, have you done this? And they basically interrogated me, and they left. And I was like, what the hell? And my guy was like, or I think it was like whoever was the chain of command at the time was like, yeah, they said you fit some guy because of what we wear. And not to mention this, but you were kind of like maybe impersonating somebody, or was there? I guess they were impersonating either an agent or something like that. And it sounded like the most made up shit ever. And what was crazy is like, I never heard about this again. That literally happened. And I'm like, I never heard from them again. So like I was profiled and I was an agent.
I really can't let this go. Uncle Fatty, if you are Uncle Fatty, brother, if I am looking for illegal Somalian immigrants, how many white people am I going to find that are illegal Somali immigrants? Brother, if I'm looking for illegal Colombian immigrants, how many black people do I need to stop? You call it racial profiling, but I don't see where it is. That is literally a quality of being a Colombian or a Somalian. Yeah, brother, I'm not there. I'm not there with you.
Let's see, you have some disagreement in the chat there.
Yeah. He's calling it racial profiling, which I guess to some degree it is. Right?
It could just be pattern recognition. I mean, really, to be honest with you.
But again, all right. So if I'm looking for illegal Somali immigrants, how many white people am I going to stop?
None of them.
Right.
We're not stopping. Let's just state the obvious. You're not stopping white people. It's not going to happen.
I mean, all right. So if I'm looking for illegal Colombian immigrants, how many people that look Colombian am I going to start? I'm going to stop all the people that look Colombian. Now, I might catch some Mexicans in that. Maybe a Venezuelan, And I'm sorry, but,
They have to fit a profile. Why does it have like color, complexion, and all that? Especially in our data reports that we get. Like, there's a reason why all the descriptors are there too.
I'm very curious, Uncle Fatty, how we figure out who are the illegal immigrants. Are we should just stop everybody? Just do I did do the search and I didn't come up with any of it. I came up with one story about a woman who literally was stopped on the sidewalk, who was asked for her ID. She refused to provide it. Targeting people by color is actually, that's not a gray area. It's not a gray area. It's not. If I'm looking for Somalians, I'm not looking for white guys or brown guys. I'm looking for very specific guys. I'm looking for very specific guys. I'm looking for Marte, basically. Which is fine. Which is fine. I got to go to bed. I got to get up in the morning and drive to Gatlinburg. We're going to go hang out. My wife and my youngest son and I. My oldest son's on a church trip, youth trip. It's gonna be good. So anyway, Uncle Fatty, I want to fight with you about this later. I do. I want to fight with you about it later. So
Sounds contentious.
Well, I just think it's interesting. You know, it's racial profiling to just say that I'm looking for a Somalian, and I know what a Somalian looks like. And
yeah,
coincidentally, they happen to look like all the other Somalians.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Just take them out, man.
yeah.
I think we should have a moratorium on immigration, even legal immigration, for a bit. So that's just my opinion.
My algorithm's not that far to the right, Uncle Fatty. But I definitely don't go out looking for fake shit. So that's part of the problem. I want real stuff. And I get very upset when I find fake stuff.
One of my chatters was asking, is he related to Team Fatty or the debater Fatty?
No, Uncle Fatty's a cool dude, actually. I like Uncle Fatty.
Okay, I was just curious.
He's just very contentious.
Gotcha.
He's very contentious, and I like him a lot. He's actually a pretty smart guy, and he's good to argue with.
Good deal then. Yeah.
Uncle Fatty says, "Tell that to the Statue of Liberty, Marte." Right. Look, I don't think that there should be a moratorium on immigration. I think
so, though. But yeah.
Well, I think we need to rethink a couple of things. $5 comes in from Fuck It Button. Just because you're looking for blue cars doesn't mean you can look for blue cars. That's racism.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm just saying, Uncle Fatty, man. You're not a black man from Portugal. That's funny. You're not a lefty black man from Portugal. That's even more important. Are we being Fuck It Button says, I came at a bad time. Are we being supremacists? No, I've got Marte right here. I can't be a white supremacist with Marte.
Yeah, Grid's using the whole I have a black friend trope right now.
I got my black friend right here.
I'm playing.
I got my black friend. He's right there. My one black friend.
This is what racists say to justify their racism. Go ahead, though. No, I'm just playing. I can't be racist. I got the one black friend. He's right here, right? He's just a coon at the time. I mean, Uncle Tom. I mean, he's just Marte. That's all. It's just.
I think it's funny.
Just go ahead.
Uncle Fatty thinks Trump should not have killed the immigration bill. It was bipartisan.
That's a whole different conversation for sure.
I might disagree on that a little bit, but not by much. You know, I think it was. I don't know that it was a good bill, but I don't know that it should have been killed. I think it could have been saved, but that's nothing. I got to go to bed. Can we include all the homosexuals in this deportation? Sure, why not?
Yeah, I agree.
Just give me a wait, but we can't be racist about it.
Oh yeah, that's
We can't
easy.
racially profile.
Yeah,
We're
let's
gonna have
not
to
racially
profile them. We're gonna have
let's
to
get rid of them. I
we
agree.
have to use speech patterns. Listen for the lisp.
The guy that's banging his boyfriend is obvious too. Let's get rid of him.
Right? Yeah. Just the boyfriend should go. Actually, I really don't care. You know, let the gays be gay. They're going to hell, so who cares? You know,
deport them. I care. Let's deport them. That's just my opinion. Moratorium. I agree.
Awful bill that wanted to reclassify what illegal. Yeah, I said there were some problems with it, but I don't know. Yeah. All right, I gotta go. You guys, Marte, it's been fun. To my chat, you guys are all cool. You should come over and hang out with Marte. And I'm going to bed. You guys have a great time. I'll see you maybe Monday, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see how that works.
Oh, by the way, I have 3 celebrity guests showing up on the podcast on Monday, and somebody who you're familiar with, their wife is going to be on the panel too, as well too, stopping by. Also, it's going to be a good time for all.
About Glenn's wife or ex-wife, Coco?
No. No.
Okay.
That's all the hints I'm giving you. But we have 3.
Rachel.
That's all the hint I'm giving you. We're just going to say,
what's up, OG?
Edition on Monday. It's going to be a good episode of Woke Podcast with me, hosted by Cool Vic. It'll be a good episode. So that's all.
Hey, what? It's a what episode?
It's going to be Woke Autopsy, hosted by me and Cool Vic.
I got you.
It'll be a good episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool Vic got his ass handed to him by First Amender. It was very hard to watch.
Oh, that's crazy. I might have to check that out again. So
it was just sad.
Well,
it's okay. Things happen.
Yeah. Things, but
he's not really a debater guy.
Yeah. He's a good guy though.
He is a great guy. I really like Cool Vic.
I like V1C. V1C is a good guy.
V1C.
V1. That's what Rachel calls him. V1C.
I know.
So, yeah, she calls me Martell now too, and then she calls Avarice Ava Rice, and I don't know. We all got name changes somehow, but yeah, all
right.
changed up. All right, man.
I gotta go to bed. You guys have a great night. Everybody was cool, and we'll see you guys all later. Marte, I gotta close this. See you.
All right, take it easy. All right, guys. Yeah, it's hold on. Omni-Man, it is going to be on my channel. I will be hosting this with Cool Vic, and it's going to be a pretty good episode. You guys are going to love it. It's going to be a great episode, and I look forward to hosting it with my partner in crime, Cool Vic. I don't think I don't think Cool Vic is a bad debater. Don't think he's a bad debater. I think that he's starting out. I think he's trying to like learn the ropes of debate. But I don't think that because I've seen horrible debaters, bad debaters. First Amender, that's a bad debater. Minar, that's a bad debater. So when you'll never. Vic is like just I like you can't say somebody's bad. Well, I can't say he's bad. I have to give him the benefit of the doubt because I have to give Vic enough debates where I can compile like kind of like a track record to determine whether or not he's good or not. You know, when you lose a debate or win a debate, it's like your first time. I can't say, oh, you're good or not. Like give it a couple times for me to determine whether or not somebody's good or fair. Right? That's fair, right? I can say that, but we'll say. Navy Baby Bree says, I think he's a timid debater from what I see. He's starting out, like we could assume that, but I can't say good or bad right now because I have to see him debate a couple times. Because what happens though is like I was kind of like that sometimes when I was debating and Andrew Wilson had to debate with me. Well, that was because Andrew Wilson's like dominating everything. And I feel like if I'm going to interrupt, I'm going to just be a speed bump and I'm going to mess it up on his side. But over a period of time, I just started doing more debates and started becoming more. But the last 2 debates before this one. The last one, they were just shit debates on my end because my mic was messing up, and I had technical difficulties during the WIC debate, during the First Amendment debate, technical difficulties. I had a debate where I was supposed to debate some guy named Ross Gwandi about Muslims not occupying U.S. office. My mic was so messed up during the time, and that ended up being a conversation. So Count Emmett says, yeah, you said it, man. Crazy stuff, man. But I kicked him out of the space, LMAO. Yeah, man, Emmett. I guess you didn't really have a high tolerance for Emmett. Crazy stuff, man. The right has become too much of a grift for bad faith actors. I can agree with that as well, too. I think that the left has that, too. I think that both sides are rife with abuse when it comes to that stuff. Yeah, the Ross Gwandi guy. Yeah, that ended up being a conversation, not a debate. And also, I had worked like a 12-hour shift on 3 hours of sleep, and I was like, I just want to have a conversation. I didn't even want to have a debate. So if it seemed like it wasn't a debate, I didn't want to have a debate that night. I was not motivated to have a debate, but yeah, crazy stuff, man. If anybody wants to get on the panel and then talk for a bit, I'll let you up for like maybe 10 minutes before I bounce. This is for like comments, questions, criticisms. If you guys just want to ask me questions, comments, criticisms, this isn't like debate a liberal like First Amender. I mean, you can debate me if you want to, but if you want to come up, we could talk about substantive things if you want. You know, there's the question of like Marte cheats in debates and all this. Like, I'll debate you with my hands held up like this, so you don't know you don't see I'm using anything, and just I don't mind doing that. So I mean, people that say I can't debate, I literally just showed the Jubilee debate on their panel. But then when you did show the debate where I dragged this billionaire, they kept talking about how I looked. Oh, he has a no neck or bad skin complexion. They weren't even listening to the debate where I was destroying this billionaire. So I don't know. You can't win with this panelverse crew. So I don't understand it. So like you guys just heard Grid One Motorsports talk about it. He says that I can't even steel man their argument. I can't even steel man their argument. I don't know why they don't like me that much. And then when I ask him, I'm like, okay, well, they'll say, well, Marte lies about what? What did I lie about? What do I lie about? Well, he's not a real Christian. What makes me not a real Christian? And then the other things that they asserted, well, Marte tries to preach to people. I don't debate theology. I don't quote scripture to people. I don't do any of this stuff. Like, I don't do any of this stuff. Well, Marte, you attack women. Where do I attack women? Where do I don't curse women out. I don't know. So stupid, man. What's up, Emmett?
I'm just here to condemn you to hell and all damnation. I
Hey, hold
learned
on. Is this
today.
the Palestine News Network here? Oh my God.
Yes, it is Panelstein News
Hey,
Network.
hold on. This looks like Emmett, though. Where's your press uniform? Bro, are you undercover? Is that what the Palestine? Oh,
It was my day off.
it is the Palestine News Network. Oh my God, I've been mistaken the whole time. Oh,
It was my day off.
it's the real Palestine News Network.
Yes, it is.
Ladies
Yeah,
and
come-
gentlemen, we got an
This is
exclusive
this
interview.
is a helmet, by the way. This is my helmet because we go to Panelstein and there's always flying.
Shrapnel. There's shrapnel in like.
Well, they call it shrapnel, but it's mostly shit. But yes,
Yeah, it's mostly shit. Yeah, it's true.
mostly shit.
You might get hit with some shit. Yeah, you're in the war zone. That's crazy, man. We got exclusive appearance by the Panelstein News
Oh,
Network,
no.
ladies and gentlemen, on this network for sure.
Oh, we have a correspondent now, by the way. We hired Paige. Paige is our DEI hired for
Oh wow,
PNN.
DEI hired. If
Yeah,
you look
yeah.
at the background, there's a war zone mind you, in my screensaver.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
feel
the
right at home.
Panelstein News Network in the war zone reporting live.
This is a little bit better than Panelstein, to be fair. Okay, it's more cozy. The shit flying is not as pronounced, mostly because there's nobody outside. But it's still it's pretty okay.
I know, man. Let's F and go for sure, man. Yeah. So hold on. I do have a question for the Panelstein News Network.
Yeah, of
Since
course.
since you are reporting live from Panelstein,
Yeah, I
can you
always.
still man their argument on why they have such a repeated attack on my side of the spectrum?
Yes. So it goes like this. Okay, Marte, you gay. Okay, you gay. And also,
Gotcha.
we know that the fact that you are it's okay to be gay for 10th man, but not for you because you're Christian. But yeah, that's pretty much the argument. It's like Marte gay, and it's like okay,
So there is no argument.
okay. Is there any? Well, they were saying today. This is something that I don't get. So they were saying today that you tell people that they should go find your content. And I was trying to figure what the fuck they meant by that. Your microphone fucked up. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it's kind of fucked. Anyway, so I was trying to figure out what do they mean by that, and apparently every time you go into a panel and they're like saying, "Hey, you gay," and you ask for any kind, I don't know if it's okay. Well, hey, Chad, Panelstein is fake news. Yes, Panelstein is fake news. The Panelstein News Network is not. We tell you how to think, what to think, and when to think. And we are the only ones who can tell you those three things in a good way. We're still alive. Can a representative for the US military complex jump in this chat? Yes, I think so. Because no Ortho Church is near, it was a wreck. But I was trying. Uh, it's hard. Okay, I'm not gonna pretend that it isn't hard to get it, and I hope you find one near you. I really do. Israel, Cruise Rail is fine. We're doing okay. Right now we're transmitting live from Cruise Rail. Yeah, I was like trying to join for a while, but it was so weird. Today was weird. It was just the worst. Like me trying to get them to take a huge arm position was really hard. And I was with Abe a little while ago, and I was pretty much telling him like it's really annoying that that the person that you can have a conversation in these spaces is pretty much floated because everyone else just goes from one side to the other. No, I'm not saying it's it's great. It's like the only person you can get the conversation at least. Yo, WR, Mr. Radio.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oh, I can hear you. That's cool. So, apparently Marte is destroying his computer right now. He's having a lifting competition with the computer.
Poor guy. Give me a second. Let me go. Let me come back in.
Okay. I wasn't ready to be alone on panel, but yeah. How's everybody doing in chat? I I I am not great. I am not great. It was not a good day. I tried to leave like 5 times and they keep reeling me in because I just wanted to play to go to a gaming store. Ah, it's funny that the people are like, "Oh, if you really think this is a news network, let me tell you something. You have problems." Yo, hello, John Mondragon. Hello, Crucible Crusader. I wish I had controls, so at least I could show something. But Casper was insane today. He was insane. And it wasn't that bad. It was just insane. A little bit of insanity. No, stop. I was what else do we see? Because today was gonna be my day off and I didn't actually take it off. I just didn't do anything. I was awoken by a very angry person who was very disappointed in me. It was really fun to be awoken by that. Recommended. I watched some of the Page and Gibbs stuff. I I covered it. I covered it yesterday. So the whole story goes like this. Gibbs was on Page's Discord. Hey Trench. So Page was on Gibbs was on Page's Discord, and he started crashing out in her Discord about her ability to debate. So she got kicked the fuck out, and then he just lost his shit, lost his mind, and now it's funny. How you doing, Trench?
Oh, I just got knocked out by Bricky after he conceded the debate, arguing my position the whole time. Realized he was arguing my position, and then
Did he
doubled
call
down
you
on
gay?
being just all kinds of nonsense.
Did he call you gay?
I certainly clap back. You know me, but I just
did he call you gay? That is the
no
question.
he tried, but it got shut down real quick.
Did you call him gay? Because that's the
Oh
actual.
yeah.
Okay, perfect.
For sure.
Okay. That's the debate tactic. Whenever you're losing a debate, just call the other
amongst
gay.
other things. That's all he did. He didn't even debate. He just came out straight swinging with the ad homs, and I was like, okay, that's what we're doing. And completely argued my position in the affirmative, because affirmative goes first. Argued my position the whole time. Aunt parents take care of their adult children. I
Odd
didn't.
parents? What do you mean by odd parents?
Just like your child's your child for life, basically.
Yeah.
That's not to say that you need to take care of your degenerate forever, or wash their clothes and make them sandwiches. It's like I think society's really bitter because of a lot of the wealth that like the baby boomers accumulated into themselves. So this is like a catalyst for motherfuckers loving like socialism, communism. And I think it could be as simple as like these greedy boomer parents that, retired, have shit, have a big stupid house, money in the bank, et cetera, et cetera. If your kid needs a root canal, for example, and you're getting ready to buy a new Cadillac, maybe you should probably help him get that root canal. I'm not saying, again, this isn't to say you need to pay rent for your kids and like take care of them forever as perpetual fucking children. No, but there's certain responsibilities a parent will always have to a child.
Well, the whole point of it, it's literally running my stream. What I would say is the first responsibility you have to a kid is to be the parents, like stay together. That's like the only that's like the primary responsibility you have to a child when it comes to family.
You need to be a family. And like me and my father, my biological father, were estranged, so it's like super refreshing to see that attempt and commitment. So it's like, yeah, we absolutely have obligations to our kids that are a lifetime, and it's a two-way street. It's also unfortunate that like one thing lost in the West that a lot of like the Catholic world still has, and then just the rest of like the Eastern world is like you take care of your parents once they become old and and infirmed. It's not
Let
crazy.
let me answer
Okay.
to some accusations that are being thrown at me in the chat.
Uh-oh.
It says that I stole Marte's channel. I didn't steal Marte's channel. Okay, none of you will be entrusted with running a channel on your own. But I am. But I am.
I actually think
But I didn't steal shit.
that's good work. Actually, I think that could be super beneficial to both of y'all.
WR, welcome back. Can you hear us fine?
Yeah, I can hear you guys just fine. Yeah, as a representative of the United States military complex, yeah, we don't run stuff. We do kitty paws. We let other people run it for us. It's called the shadow government.
Okay. That's not bad. I was gonna say hi to DC, but I think he realized that I also work for Bank of America. So I apologize in advance.
Well, let me apologize.
To the melanine.
I'm off speed because whatever he just said sounded really cool. You had me at military industrial complex, brother. What were you guys talking about with that?
With
I wanted to.
what is that?
We were given a report to General Marte on Palestine. Palestine, and my response has always remained the same: bomb them again.
Look, my whole thing is disabled. Okay, try another cable, Marte. Try disconnect your whole thing. Try another cable.
Oh, Marte.
It's Martel. Martaille. Martai.
I just don't like saying Marte. I just want to say Marty, and I got like bitched at before by somebody. I can't remember who. They thought I was
have to
trying
say
to be
it in
like
you have to say it in the
derogatory.
Spanish way.
They're like,
Martai.
you're being derogative. I'm like, dude, he's half black. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's not half black. He's full black, but white on the inside.
Well, he's high yellow like myself.
No, he's like
He's got that blue blood in him.
He's full black from the mom, and then the dad is like Dominican Republic, half Dominican Republic, which are also black. So he's full black.
Caribbean niggas crack me up, whether they're fucking Jamaicans are real. They know they're black, but like Haitians, fucking Dominicans, fucking what's the other, Cubans and Puerto Rican niggas, all these niggas is like, I'm just glad I'm not black. I'm like, nigga, dude, your lips are bigger than mine.
If I gotta hear another Jamaican call himself Soldier Boy.
That's not really what we be doing.
Man.
We mostly, like real Jamaicans, mostly just like fear the Lord and go to work. Like real Jamaicans, especially straight off the boat.
Not them fake ones.
Yeah, like I was a Rasta for a while, but that really, in a weird way, was like a backdoor straight to orthodoxy.
That's not so bad.
Call off a strike on Trench Deacon.
Something happened to your microphone.
Yeah, you got all robot and broke up there. Over.
Mm-hmm. It's all of that in the military industrial complex technology.
Yeah, they're jamming him.
calling from Ukraine. It's hard. It's hard, bros.
I'm out here trying to fire an oil executive. I'll be back Sunday.
Fucking drones, man.
But can you believe that? Can you believe how insidious the system is? Donald Trump was literally talking to a foreign head of state as our head of state, right?
Uh-huh.
And kind of like, hey, you better look out for all that corruption kind of thing going. Plus, he had the receipts of Hunter Biden's dealings as a fucking vice president of Burisma, right? I mean, what is this crackhead doing as a VP on an energy board, like the state energy board of Ukraine, other than fucking getting money for his dad?
Well,
Would
you're
you like
not
to know the
understanding.
official answer?
He's a tortured soul. Have you seen his painting?
Yeah, who pays who pays $100,000 for a Hunter Biden painting outside of the CCP?
Well, I
those
know there's
them
an
guys that
island
want to.
somewhere with a few paintings on it.
Okay, military industrial complex. Care to comment about the 100,000?
Right. Well, they can't comment because it didn't come from them. They don't even know where it fucking came from. It came from the fucking same Chinese Communist Party office that had a bunch of Joe Biden fucking top secret fucking files in it. That
Oh, but they know about this kind of dealings. Military industrial complex. Care to comment about this kind of dealings?
nah, that's above their pay grade.
Yeah,
They're
the
middle
official
management.
press,
Yeah, you can be an
the
official
official press
oppressor,
release
but
is we're
Hello.
going to get pressed. I could make that happen.
I can't even hear your threats. So you hearing him there?
That's all right.
No, I'm waiting.
Yeah,
Nope, it's still no.
we're having trouble hearing
It
you
sucks
there,
being on the front
military.
line. It sucks being.
Testing 1 2. Can you guys hear me?
Little
We
better
can
there.
hear you now.
There you go. The front
say
line ain't so
something,
bad.
Final.
The front line ain't so bad considering they moved like green bean coffee there. Fucking
Officially.
Pizza Hut.
green bean coffee is not that bad. Let's be honest.
I never had a green bean coffee until I was in Iraq. Never once in my life. They're not even in my state.
But life must go on.
Yeah, my dad is half Dominican, half black, and my mom's full black. So
Ever been to the
I don't know.
Baghdad
There
Temple?
he is.
yeah,
Marty,
so
you talk. Let me make sure I'm not going crazy.
now I feel like my mom is black and my dad's half black and half Dominican. So
You went out. You went out again. No, what happened to your microphone, dude?
Everybody's struggling tonight with the comms. Am I cutting out too?
No, you're fine. Marte is the one that cut out. Something
if I
happened
remember-
to your cable, Marte. It sounded like it disconnected. Like it actually sounded like your microphone disconnected.
If I remember
Oh.
correctly too, if other
Okay,
people are
bye.
talking when Marte talks, it like shuts him down.
Yeah, it's happening. He gets shut down, and then
He must have really pissed off the juice box mafia.
I don't think it's the juice box because I say a bunch of shit about the juice, the juice box. Sorry, and nobody's mad at me yet.
I heard the desk clicking.
I heard that too. Say something, Marte.
Yeah, we hear your mic at least. Yeah, you bumped it.
I don't know if it's his mic. It sounds like the webcam mic. No, he can't hear us. Someone is fucking with Marte.
Fucking
yeah, somebody's probably hacked me or whatever. If somebody's probably remotely doing this is crazy. Can you cut it off? If you guys hack me, I'd love to have my chat back. This is crazy.
who's your actually, you don't need to tell me that, but I had problems before, and then I switched my ISP, and a lot of those went away.
Okay.
I mean, I can tell you who the ISP is. I mean, maybe I might need to switch to ISP.
But I went
it's
from
not the ISP, Marte. It's something with your microphone or your computer. It's one of the two.
Yeah, it is one of the two because it just stops. Like this has been happening in the past few debates where it screwed me up. So bad stuff, man.
The machine spirit is angry.
Have you tried putting some, It's incense. What do you call it? That the thing that you burn.
Yeah, no, we need a tech priest up in here to do a whole exorcism on your angry machine spirit.
Yeah, I gotta have my father come in, and my spiritual father come in and bless my computer. You know they could do that, right? They
Oh,
come
yeah?
and bless your.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer and closer, baby. I love it.
We're getting
Yeah,
there.
I've heard of a spiritual father blessing a car before. I've seen that happen too.
Oh my god.
You know, Father Turbo Qualls.
Yeah, that's actually my priest.
So I was out there in the parking lot. Where is he, in Wisconsin or somewhere? I forgot where he.
No, we're in Kansas City.
Oh, Kansas City. That's where he's from. But he flew out here, and we were having a conversation for an hour. And I remember when somebody's car wouldn't start, and I think he rode to our one of the parishes out here, and he was like, "Yeah," he was like, "Moses, can you come over here and help push?" Because that was my patron saint. And I was like, "Oh my God, Father Turbo Qualls coming Moses." I went over and pushed it with him, and we managed to get this guy. And he was like telling him, because Turbo was like, "Hit the clutch when I tell you to hit it." And he hit it, and I was like, "Oh man, I just witnessed somebody came out here and just started a car with Turbo Qualls." Like, I don't know, man. It's pretty cool stuff. I have a video of him blessing Andrew Rachel Wilson, and I sent it to him with Turbo Qualls. It's pretty cool meeting.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. It's a small planet because, like,
you gotta call him. You gotta call him right now.
When I started my Inquirer's process, I didn't know who he was, and it was real weird. Like, as soon as I started the Inquirer's process, all of a sudden he started showing up on all my metadata, like on YouTube and such, and then just, you know, seeing him, you know, enact the liturgy, like he's on point with it, and the guy's just orthodox. Like, it completely blew my perception of what orthodoxy was, because I was when I started, I all I knew is I didn't want to be a part of any type of like liberal or Skittles church. So I was looking for like Greek, Russian, Serbian, whatever Orthodox that was Western Orthodox that was legit. And there's only a handful of spots like that in Kansas City. There's actually a pretty decent sized Greek Orthodox community, and then the Serbian church. So I was like, this is right downtown. And it's crazy because his church is like in the middle of the trap, like in the heart of the hood, in the ghetto, like crazy. And it's like,
well, that's where it's supposed to be, right?
Yes. So there was that going on, and then it's like the whole area. Like, if you're ever in the trap of Kansas City, it's like gray everywhere, just a big, depressing, abysmal pit. It's Babylon. But like the second you get on this block, just nestled away in a little corner in the middle of the trap, like the lights come on, because like all up and down by the church, everybody is a community. Half of the houses there are either owned by the church or good people that go to the church. Since it was there, they just started going. And there's like a community garden and a couple of monastic domiciles for the nuns. And it's just like full stop. Like, I don't know. I'm still trying to process it all, because you don't see it, like, especially in the middle of the hood. Then all of a sudden there's nuns. And
you really gotta take your PC and your microphone to the church and ask for a blessing. You ought do it, man.
But the first time I took my little brother and my stepson, and we thought we were just going to be like whitewashed, going to the Serbian Orthodox Church. But that was the one. We were also looking at, like, my little brother wanted to go to the Coptic church. And I was like,
I do want to play something for you real quick.
Yeah.
So this was when Father Turbo Qualls and me were talking for an hour, and I said, "Oh, can you take a video real quick?" And he was gracious enough to do this. I'll play this for you guys right now.
Small
Dear
planet.
Andrew and Rachel, want to bless you. I want to say that your work for the church and for standing up for things that are very unpopular but necessary, it's a blessed work. So may the Lord continue to strengthen you. Have courage. Remember that the cowardly will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. So keep your courage. Let it be seasoned with love. God bless you. Amen.
All right, I'll play one more thing too, because there was another spiritual father who I talked to for an hour, and I asked them to give Rachel and Andrew a blessing too. Here he is.
Heck yeah.
I'm here with your
We
friend
freestyling.
in Mesa, Arizona at St. Ignatius Church, and he's just telling me about you, and I'm sending my blessing. God bless you both. Please remember me.
Wait, hold on. I don't think I hold on real quick. Let me play one more time.
Andrew, hey Rachel, it's Father Josiah. I'm here with your friend in Mesa, Arizona at St. Ignatius Church.
Yeah, so I'm meeting all these great spiritual fathers, and I'm having them send Andrew and Rachel blessings the whole time.
Well, it was crazy too, because like when you go to Father Qualls Turbo, he makes it very clear that you're not joining Orthodoxy to be more based and trad and all these things, and like to throw all that out of the window.
Yeah.
You're coming to heal. You know, this is a hospital. You're broken, and let's start there. But it's nice because he does have, like, he's a very deep philosophical person. So he's got a philosophical side, but he's also like super orthodox. So, you know, I feel blessed. I think the Lord works in mysterious ways. I took my family to the church in a moment of crisis, and was just completely blown away. Like, you go in, and it's a small little chapel, but he was a tattoo artist for 25 years before he joined the church, and then, you know, decided to become a priest, got the calling and whatnot. So he's like absolutely shredded in tattoos. And one of the things I learned,
yeah, I saw his hands.
Yeah,
that's one thing I saw his hands.
But if you go to Russia or, you know, other spots of the East where the Orthodox Church is, it's actually fairly common to see priests that now not shredded to his level, but like kairos, certain religious symbols and stuff, just here and there. So, you know, the priesthood's been tattooed and bearded for a long time.
So I was in Father Turbo and Jay's whole podcast, and then I saw you, Trench, in the comments as I was in the comments watching that same podcast. I thought that was pretty cool.
And I was blown away because I follow all this stuff, and all of a sudden, you know, because I had told him, yeah, I've seen some Jay Dyer and Andrew Wilson stuff here and there, and you know, I play around on the internet from time to time, but you know, that's not the reason why I'm here. I've actually, for years before I converted, I would actually tell people to join the Orthodox Church when I was doing the independent thing if they really wanted an authentic Christian experience. I thought I was a part of a rare Christian experience and authentic, but it was a bunch of nonsense. Before I land this plane. So, you know, we showed up for the liturgy, and the amazing a cappella choir.
Yes.
Like,
That's fucking sad, dude.
Like, dudes, plenty of dudes balanced with like just the right amount of women to where they hit the low lows and the high highs. And there's a nun that has the voice of a freaking angel, man. I'm telling you. So, anytime the common thing, Lord have mercy, like there'll be the litany, the prayer, and then you'll just hear her voice pierce through all this bass and baritone of the a cappella. Lord have mercy, and I was just captivated by it. And then out comes this big, huge black dude that's covered in tattoos. I'm like, I thought this was a Serbian church. I wasn't even sure we were at the right place at that point in time. And it was packed wall to wall. Every Sunday, Father Turbo's chapel is packed wall to wall. The average age, I'm guessing, is 30, give or take. Like the oldest being like 60s. Yeah, there's a couple of geriatrics that are, the elders, but there's like a whole missing elder generation. It's not like the Protestant or Catholic Church where it's like boomers and above in silent generation, just as the mass of the body. This is all 20 and 30-year-olds. Tons of brand new families, lots of young married couples and their kids. And it's like lots of Ethiopians, Russians, Serbian, mixed people like myself, Asians. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. I've never seen a church as robust outside of like a mega church. And I've never seen a genuine practice and like level of human being. Everybody is there united in purpose. So it's just
So Trench,
refreshing.
Trench, who's your patron saint?
My patron saint is right now Saint Barbara.
Oh, it's a woman?
Yeah.
Interesting. What about you, Emmett?
Give me a. Can you hear
Somebody
me?
from Czechoslovakia?
My backup saint is Saint Varro. But I was in the order of Saint Barbara in the army, and
Oh wow, okay.
just being in the field artillery, it's the patron saint of the field artillery, sort of like Saint George is for the infantry. Because during like the Battle of Malta, I believe it was, when the army was defending itself from the Muslim invasions, the guns would blow up all the time. Old school cannons were sketchy as fuck. And Saint Barbara was the patron saint of misfortune. So if your gun blew up, it was bad luck. Saint Barbara became the saint of the artillerymen and like firefighters.
That's cool though. I mean, I'll show you who my patron saint is. I have an icon of them. Hold on real quick.
Word. There you go. Saint Moses the Black.
Yep. That's my patron saint right there. Saint Moses.
There's mine. With Saint Barbara on the left.
Oh, nice. What's up, DC King?
Martha, what's good, fam?
I got me a John from my Protestant days.
Oh, nice.
Remind me of my roots, where I come from. Theotokos, and then our Lord Jesus.
Oh, hey, DC King. I see you on Instagram all the time.
Hey, DC.
Yeah, what's good, family?
What's going on, man? Not much.
No, man, just up. Figured I'd hop in and stream a little bit before I hit this bed. I got home from work about an hour ago.
Oh, unwind, kind of chill a little bit. Nice.
Yeah.
Not bad, man.
Trent, you is your favorite, I guess, icon Moses the Black, like Marte?
Man, it's kind of hard because I went to art school too, so I have my favorite icon is the I always butcher this word because I got fucked up Missouri inner city country boy talk. God dang it. The heralding, the howling, the herald. There we go. The heralding is my favorite. It's Christ ascending into hell, and they specifically use the words ascending, and then busting out the damned, like Noah, Moses, Adam, Eve, just all the pre-Diluvian characters. It's actually a big theological lesson in that too. but I can't talk about it.
Gotcha.
Mate,
Man,
I'm gonna leave. Thank you for having me on. Have a good one and a good night.
Good
Of course,
night,
man.
Emmett.
Take it
Hey,
easy.
Emmett, hit me up
God
on
bless.
Discord if you
I
still
already
want.
hit you up and you didn't
Okay.
reply.
Okay.
I said
yeah.
hello and you ignored the fuck out of me.
No, I'm terrible at emails and that shit because I still have this fucking chaplain sitting here. So
Okay.
Emmett, I got an icon for you. Check this out. What about Saint Keanu Reeves? You think that'll work? Saint
With
Wick?
the red peel.
How about Saint John Wick? You think that might work one day?
No, but
Dude, I
it's a good
low-key-
one.
I low key have a theory that like the John Wick series is pro orthodox.
Yeah, he had I have an Orthodox cross from that movie. It's a replica too.
But like it's the only body that's able to stand up against the high table, so to speak.
Oh, that's deep, bro. That's crazy.
man, that's a classic series right there.
But like them and the Bowery are the
Yeah.
only two factions that have enough weight to kind of divert or disobey the high table. So I think that's notable.
Yeah, it's pretty base. The
Man.
whole movie and series is based too.
Man, I ain't gonna hold you. Somebody need to hit your boy 50 Cent up. I'm still pissed that they removed the movie out here in Texas. I didn't even get to catch it, bro.
Oh, you are in Texas? That's where I'm gonna move pretty soon. Maybe after I graduate school, I'm moving out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't seen the movie yet.
No, they pulled it, bro. They pulled it like a week ago.
Oh, it's because the Orthodox. It's because the Orthodox Church is growing too hard, too fast for them.
That's crazy. They pulled the movie. That's insane.
I'm about to talk to Father Turbo about that and see what's what.
Yeah, it came. It released out here, and well, I don't know where everywhere else, but it released out here the week it came out, and then it was showing all the way till like last Wednesday, and then they pulled it.
That's crazy. I can't believe they pulled it, man. That's insane.
Well, I can't believe you met up with my spiritual daddy. That's hilarious. It's a small planet.
Yeah, we talked for a whole hour, man. We got to jumpstart somebody's car out in the parking lot. It's so funny, man. He's cool people. So I was telling my friend, I was like, oh, he looks like the Orthodox Forrest Whitaker to some degree.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
it's wild though. You know, seeing all the people in the congregation that actually revere him too. It's like I knew I was in the right place.
Oh yeah, for sure,
and
man.
Then like all the networking, and then all the lessons have just been sprinkles on the donut, so to speak.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. There's a lot of cool people out here, especially in the Orthodox Church, for sure, man.
Hey, Trench. Quick question. This is I guess it's kind of a joke in a sense, but I'm just kind of curious just because of the name. Is this name by any chance influenced by drill or gangster rap or nah?
No, it's more it's actually nerd shit.
Because
like Warhammer 40,000, and then there's this game called Trench Crusade.
Oh, I love Trench Crusade.
Gotcha.
Man, that's so based.
So I mashed Trench Crusade and Warhammer together, and then became a trench deacon.
Okay, gotcha. I can't remember exactly what rapper, but I think about Trench Baby when I think about Trench Deacon.
Well, I use it, and it works because, like, I'm proper. I come from educated people, and I've favored naturally, I guess.
Are you
education and being able to communicate properly? So I got a country boy drawl, but I don't Ebonic so hard. But I live right in the middle of the trap myself. Like I am in the trenches every day. I live this shit.
Yeah. I'm curious. You ain't gotta drop your exact location, but are you down here in the South, bro?
No, we in Kansas City. We in Missouri. That's where all the black people stopped.
I guess close enough because he definitely got that Southern drawl. So
it's called from Kansas City to St. Louis. It's called Little Dixieland. Missouri was the last slave state. It was a neutral state, but it's got a little boot on the end of the state. and that goes south past the 39th or 38th parallel, something like that, which made it a slave state. So we're literally the last state on the Mason-Dixon line of the South. It's just that, post-Civil War, the culture kind of grew into calling Missouri the Midwest versus its Appalachian, Scottish, Irish, and Black roots, because it's literally Kansas City and St. Louis are where the Black population or the Black American diaspora stops, because all Black people are still very much in the South.
Yeah, for sure. For some reason, odd reason, they don't really consider Texas the South. I do, but I guess
Yeah, same thing with Oklahoma. But I think that's part of like the cultural rewrite. I mean, from the Union standpoint, they don't want the South to rise up again. So you change the culture. You change the culture. When I was a little kid, there was rebel flags everywhere. You don't see that shit here anymore.
Are you referring to the con flag?
Yeah. Well, General Lee.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't think I've seen a con flag out here in Texas in a while. Maybe it has to do with woke culture.
Maybe, but like in Missouri, when I was a kid, all the way up into my I'd say even my 20s, that shit was everywhere. Belt buckles, bumper stickers, fucking Boy Scout camp, everywhere. But now you don't see it at all.
That's crazy. Probably because people got more woke now. So,
well, that and the Peckerwood boys don't want their fucking F-350 Super Dually window busted out.
That might be it too. Yeah, you might be lying. Yeah.
Yeah, I used the R word. I don't know if we can use it on YouTube, so I'll be safe. It's not related to great, but it's the other one. It ends with a D. I used it at work the other day, and the dude went crazy. I'm just like, "Hey, that's
like tarded."
Yeah, I didn't know that became a politically incorrect word to use now. He's like, did you really say that? I said, yes.
I had someone chimp out on me like that after I went on a tirade about Nyagas, and I was like, "Are you serious? This is what we're doing?"
Yeah, crazy.
Like I must have said, I say the N word because it makes my teeth white, right? So after like 30 minutes of me just going ham, he pulled out the R word. It's like,
oh, the hard R.
No, I don't use a hard R unless I actually reserve that one for white people, because nothing crawls up a fucking a YT's asshole than when you beat them to it. When you drop a hard R on them when they've really done dirty and wrong, and you really want to fucking gas them up, I drop a hard R on them and just watch them lose their mind and like it's like you suck their whole spirit out of them.
Gotcha. I'm not gonna lie. Before I became a conservative, I used to kind of get triggered by white people saying the N word. Now it's just like, it is what it is. I do think to some degree, most of the ones that I know that said, besides the Fuenteses of the world, I feel like they just try to use it to adapt to black culture, which I think is really quite ignorant.
They're like doing 10 things at once with it. I think one, they're trying to adapt the culture. Two, it's like a post irony thing to where they're taking the word back and they're using it in non-racial contexts as kind of a crusade against PC culture. And from their perspective, I would imagine like white victimhood, or what they perceive as white victimhood of as far as being a white male is concerned. I've seen a little bit. My stepson's white, so it's like I've seen how he got treated in elementary school. He's going to be a man soon enough, and these kids are about ready to start voting, and you can see why they're more prone to conservatism just out of counterculture alone. Because like from the time he was, in kindergarten to high school, little boys are the reason why the earth is busted and evil, especially if you're white. So No, I see a future, and it's gonna be multicultural, but it's gonna be a nuanced multicultural. It's gonna look a little bit like the '90s stuff, but it's gonna be different in a way I haven't seen or can't name. But example is like everybody's played some video games and heard N-bombs get dropped on Call of Duty or Madden or whatever, right?
Yep.
So imagine you're a little suburban white kid and you're playing Madden or Call of Duty, and then you just hear this shit regularly. You hear it from the redneck boys, you hear it from the black kids, and with the A at the end of it, and you hear it in a whole range of uses, from a term of endearment to insults to it's like really a catch-all word. So you pair that with the America's chief export, black culture, black pop culture, and then you create this recipe where you have all these suburban kids using it unironically. They're not, from my position, I don't think they're using it from a place of hate. They're just using it. So I heard them talking about it on the game, and I shut it down the first time I heard it. I'm like, boy, you are blonde hair and blue eyed. You're gonna get fucking lynched out here using a word like that. And then, like, I don't know, towards the end of middle school, so they're like us. I'm an old head millennial, in my 40s. So like we grew up with the Rainbow Kids, like Power Rangers or Hook. There was always the mixed kid, the Asian kid, the black kid, the Muslim kid, the Jewish kid, the retarded kid, etc. And that's gang. That's gang. They were always the bad guys, and like the bad. It's the PC safe inner city gang in every movie. So their generation is like our generation, but on crack. It's even more diverse, even more mixed. And like where we are in Kansas City, more of like the mixture and even culture and language, where you got like where redneck talk meets valley girl suburban talk meets inner city hood nauka talk. So it blends, and you hear these kids, the Muslim kid drop say nigga, or the Asian kid or the white kid. And once I saw him doing it in person, I realized I couldn't shut it down. It was impossible.
So I got a question, Joe Trance. I have a serious question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to do a team up debate with me?
Yeah, we fucking good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, I don't like curse people out. I'm not really overly mean to people. So you kind of right, I think.
You're nice, but that's also.
I mean, I'm kind. I'm not nice.
Well, it's part of your disposition, and it's part of your debate strategy. It's a part of your persona.
Yeah, I would say
it's not a bad thing.
I wouldn't say nice. I'd say kind.
Because it's true. Because it is a different strategy. You do let people hang themselves. You do buy yourself that time. It's like in judo, jiu-jitsu, or wrestling, when you're not exerting yourself, like when you go to guard or some kind of clinch or something like that.
Yeah.
Where you're just kind of buying your time and letting them kind of lead the dance until you figure out what you're going to do, or they fuck up, and then you fucking, reverse that shit. Triangle choke.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Trench could be your, I don't know this dude's debate style, but I'm assuming as I make this joke, he could be your the black version of Andrew Wilson for you.
Yeah, I turn it on when people start doing all that ad hom. I clap back.
Yeah, I don't do the ad homs that much. I mean, I might punch back a little bit, but I try to hang them with the logic, though.
But you do more serious debate stuff too. I stay in like the blood sport arenas and in the dumpster of the debate circuits, and
I do some blood sports. Sometimes I do some blood sports.
But I've still yet to do like a serious, controlled, moderated debate outside of easy.
Maybe you know what? If I get another 2v2, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you
I'll start checking I'll start checking my Discord regularly now.
Have you hit anybody in the big leagues trench in this political space?
I don't know. Where the top of the iceberg is. It is interesting. It is a small planet, and I'm learning you got to be careful because some random dude on a panel might actually be somebody. But
so when I say
no, not really. Just like Terry, I've beaten a lot of the clowns that are actually really, really good debaters because they understand the rules to the debate, so they understand how to break them. Like I give Teriak, you know who that is?
No clue. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe all the people I kind of know when it comes to the political space are kind of like big league people. So that's why I asked, did you do anybody?
Well, he just had a really decent debate with Rob Nord not too long ago, where Rob was going in blind.
Yeah, I know Rob because of Crucible,
and he did really, really good. He arguably won that debate, and I hadn't seen him in form like that, where he couldn't use all his typical Teriak fucking strats and tactics like switching the subject just to eat down the clock. Like there's certain tricks that some of these guys know and can do quite effectively that just eat up all your time or have you arguing a point that's not of your own design. You can't even get to your point because you're busy either defending yourself from an ad hom or arguing some kind of straw man or red herring. So you got to pay attention to those guys.
Yeah, but so recently, you bring up a good point because I like doing handicap matches. The last two I've done, I did a 1v2. It was me versus Minar and Mr. Work, and then I did one versus Wick and a biased moderator. So it was like another 1v2. So I love it when I'm probably outnumbered. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'll even practice. I'll jump on panels with the panelverse, and it'll be like me versus 9 of them, like things like that. Like I've been doing stuff crazy like that recently too.
Or hitting the TikTok circuit. It's funny because, like I said, Teriak knows the rules, but he just, he can flip over the whole game board table.
Nah, Teriak. No shade against Teriak, but Teriak will double down on a losing position and swear he's right sometimes. That was crazy.
It's the part of it that's frustrating is he's got an audience, right?
Yeah.
So you're battling his audience too. Some of these guys have quite the followers that are loyal and pay all kinds of money in the stream, and that's a hard obstacle to get around, especially if they know it and can use it to their advantage.
Is Teriak? I don't know this individual. Is he a black person?
No,
he's Irish. He's Irish white boy.
Yeah, he's the angry leprechaun that runs around making terrible arguments on purpose.
Gotcha. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Terion. That's what came to mind.
And Teriak knows exactly what he's doing too. Don't let him fool you.
Exactly.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
No, we've talked about debate strategy for like formal debate versus blood sport, and me and him have kind of hinted at some of the tricks of the trade, so to speak.
Yeah.
Just the little things you could do. Like when I debated Minar, I purposely put on a show and made a whole character around myself because I was going to steamroll him with that before he could steamroll me with his Gish Gallop and ad hom like flurry. That dude can unload on you. Just
pause.
So Trench, remember the debate with Minar? I told him this, and I was waiting to drop this question. I had to. I told him, in your religion, according to you, in Iran, the legal age of consent is 9 years old, and you promote first cousin marriages. So you think it's okay for 9-year-old inbred people to be on the dating market so you can cream pie?
He didn't even know what to think.
It was the loudest crickets I ever heard. And then I asked him it again, and Speakeasy got so uncomfortable with the question. He said, "Let's move on from this."
Yeah. When you say it like, and it's hard because it was a steal the breath moment. Like you could hear a pin drop, and it's different coming from Marte because Marte doesn't usually play those cards. So if I say some shit like that, people would smack their foreheads and be like, "Yeah, Trench would say some." Retarded shit like that.
Yeah, and it was like he didn't have no answer for that.
No, he
There was
didn't have
literally
any
no
answers. Like when I debated him, he didn't legitimately, he didn't respond back to anything that I proposed to him whatsoever. So I realized then and there, all right, well, I'm gonna keep hammering those points, and then I'm just gonna start running circles around you. Like I even threw in, because yours was the whole ancestry thing.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, the debate I had with him
And
last.
it's funny because I paid attention to that debate because it was going to piggyback into mine, and like he was completely wrong about like the scriptures, and like we're both Orthodox, so we got to be careful how we go about
Yeah.
talking about theology and history when it comes to the church. But no, I found it funny. Like he didn't even know what Leviticus meant or how it's interpreted by Christians. And he didn't even know that it was like literally in Leviticus, like don't marry your cousin.
But
And like it doesn't specifically say don't marry your cousin, but here's the thing. The church has banned cousin marriage for almost 2 millennia.
well, here's the thing too, is like the whole debate was about incest and marrying your cousin. That it's okay. He wanted to turn it into I'm going to attack Christianity marriage, and I'm like, I didn't bring up Christianity in this whole thing. You want to make it about Christianity, and I kept trying to avoid that, but he kept trying to make it about Christianity. I was like, what the hell are you
That's his
talking
bread and
about?
butter. That's his bread and butter. He always tries to push a debate towards theology.
I kept
And-
knocking that out of his hand. I was like, we're not talking about Christianity here. Let's get back to you, fucking your cousin again.
Yeah,
And
I let him build a home there because I had this whole Leviticus thing. So Manar likes to use the Bible to make arguments against Christianity, but his problem is he hasn't in good faith and earnestly done his homework and read the Bible. So
yeah, that's crazy.
So like he'll quote the Leviticus part. It doesn't say cousins. It doesn't say anything about a cousin, but he literally leaves the whole first sentence out of that chain of scripture, which is do not have sexual relations with any close family member. Period.
I checked him on that. He said, well, if it omits it, that means it allows it. And I said,
no.
So this is what I told him. I said, so if I never tell my wife to not bang the neighbor, that means it's okay for her to bang the neighbor because I never told her not to do it. He said, no, that's okay. And I'm like, that's a checkmate, bro.
Well, it goes even farther. Actually, the standard of what the Bible is saying is actually an even higher bar than just your kin. So don't have relations with close family. Obviously means don't have sex with a chick that you share a grandmother with. That's your first cousin. But it goes on more in the list because it says fathers shouldn't lay with daughters and all that type of stuff. But then it goes into sons shouldn't lay with stepmothers. So all of your juice box, prawn hub, and Uprawn that people be downloading. It's just laden with that satanic nonsense. And then on top of that, you have there's certain like contractual things too. You can't even lay with like the maid or the maid's daughter.
Well, not even that. But here's the thing, though. I'm not changing the subject too much.
But what it's saying biblically, though, especially for the times, like if we went back into biblical times, the servant was a part of your family. They're rolled up into the family household. That's why, like the commandments. That's why the 10 Commandments. One of the commandments is, "Thou shalt not covet your neighbor's wife, mule, servant, or anything in his household." That's of his house. That's his family. So, the standard, if Manar was actually, but the problem is he's reading the Bible and then he's doing the Protestant thing and interpreting it for himself. And that's also why I buried him in the debate, because I made it very clear from the opening that I'm defending all three forms of Christianity, the Protestant, the Orthodox, and the Catholic, and that you're going to have to separate them and fight them one at a time because you can't make a fallacy against one, like as far as its doctrine is concerned, and hold that against the other.
You know what I wish? I wish that Speakeasy would do 2v2s. He doesn't do 2v2s.
I think he's going to. I think he'll, and I think if you come to him with like a hot debate topic, if it's something that he knows is going to, you know, get views, I think Easy's going to do what Easy's going to do and try to platform that.
You mean
especially if you've got followers and shit, like if especially if it's people that got followers of their own and all that. Yeah.
So I had the last hot topic I had is that white people should get reparations from blacks. And I was like, that the people are definitely gonna be like, what the hell is Marte talking about? So yeah, things like crazy topics like that. I think people want
you hit them with the shock, and that's like when you look at the Swords of Reason catalog on Easy's channel, you'll see the ones that broke 1,000 quickly versus the ones that don't. And those are kind of the ones that have the good, you know, tagline, that good primer, you know, Christianity versus Islam. You know, should you marry your cousin?
Racism doesn't exist. Racist people don't exist. Things like that. That's the ones.
Provocative titles. I want to debate against Zionism, to be honest with you. I throw my hat. Easy knows that I'm looking for that debate. I was going to do it with Menard, but I don't think he can control himself.
I have a debate topic I posed to Easy that's going to be controversial. The debate topic is that we should have a moratorium on dating black women. That's going to be a really hot topic. It's super hot.
They need a cultural reset.
They delete all our babies.
Well, they deleted babies and men. They deleted themselves. They deleted the patriarchy. Well, I don't know which one came first, the chicken or the egg, but the black patriarchy died, and with that, came 5 generations of single mothers, and this is why things are melted down, because grandma's been raising these kids for the last 80 fucking years.
I got a good argument against that, and you will miss things once they're gone. I think that we aren't missed quite enough, so I think we need a moratorium, and there's going to be a good debate I have against that. So whoever Speakeasy chooses, they're going to get slaughtered on this.
I'd probably get down with that too, because I'd love to have me a fucking, you know, a fine Nubian princess. But
it's rare. It's rare for you to get somebody who's even conservative as a Nubian princess. That's my problem.
They're all fucking men, first of all, like because of the 5 generations.
Masculine.
Like single motherhood demasculates boys. It snips their nuts. Yep. And then it turns women into dudes because they got to fucking be head of house, and they got to
survival mode.
Yeah, they got to fight the world. And they're overweight automatically, so they put on all this man mass.
You're right, man. We need to put a reset. That's the reset that I'm talking about.
There's no reason why the average black woman needs to be obese. This is just insane.
It's common though,
but it's because there's never been when you have 5 generations of no dad saying
no accountability.
No, baby, you can't have that, baby. I love you, but, and then it's also accelerated too because of the flip side of that. There was this dysgenic like cultural grab as soon as things got desegregated, or as soon as the lower class aspects of black culture in general caught up and became middle class. There was like this need to just consume for the sake of consuming. We've all seen the trope. Now I'm gonna let my baby eat whatever she wants. Too many black kids starving to death in the world. I'm gonna let my baby have seconds and thirds. Like that.
So I want to tap in on this issue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, don't mind. I think when it comes to this issue, it's gonna take a lot of deconstruction and reconstruction just to even get back to the traditional black image at large, because you got the whole pro-black, you got the FBAs, you got
for sure,
you got the whole
it's crazy.
Like there's a lot of schisms just within like black politics
alone. There's no unified black what we would call a superordinate goal, the tie that binds all of the different worldviews, ideologies, and cultures together under one unified thing. The white people are losing it now. They're trying. It's still there, but it's on life support. Whereas the black ordinate goal, I don't know. I don't even know if I ever knew one existed after King died.
Trench.
Then
I will.
I'll also add this too.
Yeah, go ahead.
The rejection of Christianity at large within Black America, and for those that do accept Christ, they treat Jesus as a therapist versus as a Lord. I mean, look at
but that's the female. But that's the female nature of Christianity anyway. And you got to understand, when you go to the Protestant church, which is the bulwark of Black Christianity, and I'd even concede that blacks are still way more religious. Like it used to be like 90, like when I was a teenager and shit, it was like 90 something percent, high 90s. I mean, that number is coming down, but still by and large, niggas in the South love Jesus.
No, I'll say this though, the next debate I have coming up, and actually I had a conversation with Speakeasy, and Speakeasy's like, yo, you got a challenger. And the challenge was, will you oppose civil rights? And I said, yeah, I'll say that they need to take that away. And that's the next debate I'm doing on Speakeasy's channel.
I'd be down for that too.
Because we had, before civil rights, we had stronger marriages, stronger religious values. We had more personal business owners during that time. So First Amendment
I'd say we had more meaningful religious values. There was
more meaningful, deeper religious values then too.
Yeah, there was an actual physical church that people went to.
More traditional families, more intact families, all that stuff before civil rights. We had a lot of shit going on with us before. Yeah.
I think Black Americans also have a witchcraft problem. It's a lot of Black folks into astrology and signs and all that crap.
Oh yeah.
But it's not the same as the whiteys. Still, like Black people are still the problem with Black religiosity is it's disunified Baptist nature. So you'll hear a Black dude profess, he's a Christian, he's Baptist or whatever, but he don't even go to church. And it's just like Manar losing the debate against me because he's trying to argue from his own interpretation of the Bible against Orthodoxy or Catholicism, which ain't gonna work because you can't interpret the Bible for yourself. You're gonna run into all kinds of interpretation problems alone. So without that authority, and even though Black people were never Orthodox or Catholic in the sense of any meaningful numbers, there was still very much a physical body of church that was an authority, that had a priesthood or a deaconate or some kind of pastor or reverend that was the authority, and it was a glue that binded. So when you have 5 generations of single mothers, nobody's going to church every Sunday. That's not happening.
Yeah,
they might love Jesus, or when they become single mothers, and this is what I see with white women in the Catholic Church, especially when they become single mothers, then it's time to get active, because you need that social work that the church does, and that's where the water of the liturgical and the spiritual get muddied down with like the societal clinical social workers office that they've turned the Protestant church into. It's like that's part of the reason why I left. We spending all kinds of money on single moms, but not a freaking penny on preventing single motherhood.
Well, I think that with that specific issue, and I'm speaking as somebody that's a Protestant, I don't even think specifically when it narrows down to the issue, that's just a Black people thing. As somebody that's visited a lot of evangelical churches, it definitely caters to a lot of white feminists too.
Oh yeah, well that's the women, and that's what destroys all. It's a devouring locust, right? Which is why we weren't supposed to, let women have spiritual authority over the man. Different ontological goals. The women, if left to their own devices, will literally consume everything not bolted down, and then give the rest of the way to the dregs of society out of vibe and their bleeding hearts. God love them. But when you really start to understand what the word dysgenic and what its traits are and what it does, because it is a deconstructive force, even though it thinks it's out here doing the right thing. The pathway to hell is paved in good intentions. You still run into the problem. They'll vote for the worst policies just because of vibe.
Oh, vibe and energy.
Vibe and energy.
Energy too.
It's like, who are you to tell these people that you can't let 20 million people illegally enter your country?
Yeah, that's crazy.
You're evil. They need somewhere to come. They need food and shelter. And it's like, this isn't a food and shelter fucking factory or charity. Like, this is our home, and 1 million people is a city. So from 2024 or 2020, 2018 to 2022, the United States government allowed 20 cities, NFL stadium size cities.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. If you're going to come into our country, you can't take away from our country. You have to actually add to our country and actually also be participating member of society who's contributing to our society.
And the thing is that they're participating in like the labor and part of like the sales tax. You buy some, hold on. They send their money home. They send their money home to families and stuff. But what I'm talking about is they can even go to church. They can buy a car. They can marry a white woman for all I care, but it still destroys. It's still a destroying force because they've undermined the labor market.
But that's what I'm saying, though. That's not adding to society, though.
No, it's not. They're not. They're stealing the wealth, and actually, they're stealing the value of your labor, specifically the white man and the black man's labor. You can't pay fucking crackers and niggas to swing a hammer like you could 20, 30 years ago. So people ain't getting into roofing, landscaping, construction, pouring concrete, because this is all Mexican crews that you can't compete with, whether you're a small mom and pop shop guy or whether you're lucky enough to be one of these major corporations. But still, you're a major corporation. You're getting all the white rich people money and doing the project right the first time, because you hire some of these crews, you get what you pay for. But these are the people out here cutting your grass, re-roofing, and all that. And the left looks at it like, oh, we got you. If you shut this down, who's going to be your mechanic? Who's going to cut your grass? Like they're fucking slaves or something trying to leave the plantation, which is insulting. But it's also an economic weapon that is an axe over everybody. Like that's a conservative blue collar laborer's head, because they're stealing your value. They're stealing the value of your labor from right underneath your nose. And it's wild. It's the rich liberal elite that does it the most. They're the ones out here hiring all these Mexican crews to cut their grass and rake up the fucking leaves and to watch their kids and to clean their fucking mess up. So they don't want to pay a white person to do it, or a nigga, because you got to pay them fucking an American salary.
Yeah.
You got to do American labor versus so there's so many things going on with this.
That's how you develop a new slave class. Then you're trying to say that you guys aren't slave owners, but you're doing that whenever you get illegal immigrants that come in and do the jobs that you don't want to do. And the problem with this is, and this is the major.
I don't think. Here's the thing, though, bro. I don't think that people didn't want to do these jobs. They just got crushed out of the market.
Yeah, but Trench, here's the major problem that I also see this too. When you're saying this, you're replacing people which are going to replace our culture, our tradition, and everything else. And we're not going to see the same America 60 years from now if we keep replacing ourselves and deleting our babies. We're going to have a new culture that we don't have 60 years from now. It's crazy.
And that's why I had this philosophy before I started watching like the ortho circles, Andrew and Jay, which was awesome to see him with Father Turbo. But like we're cooked. Like the position is, we have to start thinking about the game's already lost. The towel's done been thrown in, and if you really want to get technical with it, it was thrown in before we were even born. That's how cooked we are, actually. So
I'm
what we're doing.
Oh,
So what we're, and I'm not trying to throw out black pills or red pills. I think people should be white pilled in Christ. The future is looking good. There's a natural process that's on our side because of counterculture. All these pink-haired fucking degenerate teachers have really pissed these boys off for the last 20 years. And
Yeah,
they're
that
just
too.
now starting to get a taste of their voting block, which is why they're freaking out. And it's why, like, Nick Fuentes terrifies them because of all the mustache man and Joseph Stalin stuff. But really, he is just a meme of a greater whole, a greater, larger culture that's emerging right now with these kids that are.
But well, hold on, Trish. Let me stop you real quick. And
Mhm.
I'm somebody that to some degree I favor Nick Fuentes, but I guess my counter would be how much is he a threat at large? Because I would even argue in the conservative circles, white or black, he's kind of like shadow banned and ignored by the majority, especially
I don't
when
think he's a threat to any. I don't think he's a threat to the system in any way, shape, or form. No more than I think that, like, because they kill you, right? If you're a legitimate threat, you're depersoned, deplatformed, like seriously
Oh, yeah.
deplatformed.
The
Which
dude-
he wasn't. Like Charlie Kirk was
take-
assassinated, but he wasn't. He wasn't done by the dark hand. That was just some unhinged troon weirdo, and like they're fired up. They took a big L, and the writing was on the wall when Trump won office again. Like the second they started burning Teslas, like I told everybody last November, like shit is going to get crunk after they take their L. They have no way to cope with it. And their ideas are so terrible that they either have to censor people or kill them. So like Charlie Kirk was unfortunate, but that wasn't from like the dark hand or the shadow government.
I can believe that.
That was an individualist communist actor trying to bring about the revolution, which isn't going to work because it's the same reason it didn't work in the 60s and 70s. They keep trying. It's just America, we're primed for individualism, and capitalism is really a big deal. Like it creates an environment of prosperity that even at its lowest form, people still don't, it's not shitty enough for people to revolt. That's why like 2020 was such a big deal. If you ever read Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, it's one of the Communist manifestos on how to accelerate things. The shotgun blast of it is you break a man's legs to sell him crutches. So like during 2020, you saw the left systematically shutting things down, systems, institutions, organizations, services, et cetera, intentionally to try to make things worse to put political pressure against Trump. Their accelerationist plan has ultimately backfired because I don't think they can bring America down low enough to get people to actually think communism is worth a fuck.
Yeah, I think for me, when it came to the 2020 lockdown, that's kind of what red pilled me into conservatism because I was kind of a hardcore pro-black for like maybe 4 years prior to that, and so that kind of like
me too.
opened my
I
eyes.
was like that too, yeah.
I was a libertarian.
I had the BLM poster and everything.
I never did the BLM thing.
Oh no, I didn't go that far, but yeah.
No, it was different here in Kansas City. So Precious got shot by some fucking some dope boys and gang boys, and it really hurt the community out here in the hood because it was like, you know, there was a lot of what rightfully so, Trayvon Martin, the Brown and Ferguson. So that like you had all this stuff on the backdrop, but here's the burning city. I mean, Kansas City, boy, like we sell T-shirts here. This is "Welcome to Kansas City," duck motherfucker. It's got a fucking 45 on the front of it, and like we're not in the top 20 populations, I don't even think, but we're always in like the top 20 murder rate. And it's directly affected the Black community here because it's where all the nonsense happens. So you have the streets knowing the truth, feeling some sort of a way, and then you have all the outside propaganda get poured in, Nazis, the Ku Klux Klan, the white power boys, the racists and whatnot. They're out here exterminating Black people left and right with the police, but this isn't the lived experience in the hood. Like, you're gonna get killed by a nigga if you're Black. And the kid got killed, and there was a whole, like, Tech Nine came out. There was a whole counter. It wasn't anti-BLM and it wasn't anti-Black, but it was anti that institution and organization. And it was calling it out from day one that, look, these are a bunch of lesbian communist bitches that don't give a fuck about the Black community. And if they really did, they'd have at least one competent Black male as a representative of the institution. At least one.
Trent, I got a question for you regarding, I guess, your summary of what you just said. So I don't have this position, but a lot of evangelicals do, specifically Black evangelicals. What do you think about, as a Christian, moving back to the hood to reach the hood for the gospel? Are you for or against that?
I mean, I don't. So I think it's every Christian's duty to witness the gospel and deliver the good news to people, right? That's a general, not a requirement to call ourselves Christian, but it's a general duty inherent in being a Christian. We want to save as many people as we can. But I've never been big into evangelizing, and I've always been a Christian, but it's come and gone in waves as far as like intensity. There's times I've been more liberal minded, and then there's times I've been more, hellfire and brimstone. Y'all motherfuckers need Jesus. But now that I'm doing the whole Orthodox thing, I'm just kind of slowing my roll and learning the ropes. And from my opinion is, I don't see the Orthodox Church, I don't see evangelization the magnum opus or bulwark of the Orthodox Church. Yes, it wants souls, but it's not in the process of modernization. It's not in the process of trying to keep up with the world, so to speak. Like, this is hard.
So I do want to say this real quick. I got about 10 minutes left because I gotta wake up early tomorrow morning. But I did want to say that I'll be up here for about 10 more minutes, and I appreciate you guys for showing up on the panel and us just having a conversation for sure.
Oh, but the outreach, to answer your question, I think that Father Turbo is doing a lot of this work in one, as an agent and representative of the church, but two, kind of this nuanced ways. He runs this, it's called the George Washington Carver Community Garden. So it's like an inn in the middle of the hood. There's this garden where people grow food and can get food, and there's nuns there. So you get food, get some of that good news. As far as like converting people, there needs to be a public presence, but I think the first step comes with reinstituting the patriarchy. And we're only going to be able to do this in like the Black community by removing all of the safety belts and the Gibbs Me handouts. Like, there is no incentive for the Black woman to change her behavior. Zero. Not when she can have kids with random dudes that are meal tickets in and of themselves. Things like no-fault divorce were ended to destroy the Black family. A woman can just walk away from her marriage because she's bored, and it's given for generations an unrealistic expectation of marriage. Like, marriage, you're going to have whole bad years, multiple years.
I think a lot has to do with if we just got to be fair, it's the accountability of the lack of accountability of black men that put their penis inside of these women.
Well, I get that, but like when you look at cultures that have their shit together, as far as like being chaste and they don't suffer teenage pregnancies or pregnancy out of wedlock, like there's a high expectation on women to be safeguarded and for women to safeguard themselves as vessels. And this is ontological because women birth children, like they have a womb. So that needs to be sanctified and kept pure. Yes, men can fuck around. We're not as prone to a lot of these same sexual transmitted diseases. I'm not saying that you need to go out there and be a hoe bag and cheat, but when you go back further in time, the mentality kind of was dog will eat, stay the fuck away from my daughter. Go to the whorehouse, something. Like we have to venerate motherhood and venerate the sanctity of marriage and venerate the sanctity of being a virgin. Then women will self-correct. Like once we start hunting, once we lock it down and quit banging the hoes and demand a better product out of women that don't cheat, women that ain't the boss, like you get in an argument with her and she's dead ass wrong, but she's going to double down like a man and never talk to you again. That's unacceptable. Like they need to become more agreeable. So I would break contact with them. I would remove all the safety nets. This way, fathers, because statistically speaking, if you live with your dad instead of your mother in a single parent home, the statistics are night and day. Like when it comes to sexual assault, criminality, graduating high school and college, getting a meaningful job, going on to remarry. Like you live with your dad, all those things are going to happen for you. You live with your mom, you're going to jail.
Maybe I sound black pill when I say this, but bro, I think it's too late because for the social conventions that we have in the black community.
So I sound black pilled too, but I want to give you the good news. The good news is these kids are changing. The white ones, the black ones, the Mexican ones, all of them, especially the boys. And the little girls right now are starting to see, because of boys and men, adult men and boys would rather stay home and play video games than engage in casual sex today, right now. This is completely against the trend that we grew up with, where, you had that 70s show on and everything was always about getting laid. So like this next generation is the like cultural marker. I'd keep my eye on it. They're just now entering into the political electorate, and like this next election cycle, even more of them, like half their generation will be in the voting electorate. So I'm going to get off of here. I want to close with this. Like the matriarchy has become a dysgenic meat grinder that's destroyed everything. But we're seeing a call to the patriarchy and a slow rise of the patriarchy. When the Catholic and Orthodox Church are predominantly women, we're talking like 70 and 80% female congregations, mostly upper middle age and geriatric. This isn't a church for little boys, because you're going to a social worker's office to get lectured about why you got to be nice to gay people. It's political. It's a political, geopolitical, social services office now. So the Orthodox Church represents a return to the patriarchy. You have Protestantism, that's individualism, which is why there's a trillion different denominations. And you've got Catholicism, which is collectivism. That's why it's a college of cardinals and a centralized pope. And every Catholic nation on earth pretty much is democratic socialist or socialist leaning. So you see a prime in cultures. America was dangerous individualism, but it's melted down. We've hit that point in the cycle. So now we're seeing a return and a calling into the Orthodox Church. That represents the patriarchy. It's predominantly male. It's growing 70% a year. So this is step one. Let's get all the boys baptized in the church. They will demand good wives instead of pounding their puds and going out hoeing. And then women, because all women, even the pink-haired screaming liberal ones with the pierced noses and shit, They want to be mommies. They want to marry a good nugga and have a little baby and the white picket fence. And the reason why they scream out and hate everything, to include God, so feverishly is because all that seems unobtainable for them. So we're watching a big double down, because women at the end of the day behave just like kids, man.
Yeah, but the issue with the Orthodox Church, I guess, just to give a little pushback, is the fact it's such a small faction in Western America.
Well, this is the thing. It's at 1% now. It's in Western America. Granted, it is a ginormous denomination globally. Right? I think it's number 2. But this weird thing happens once you hit the 3% mark, which is funny in and of itself. Threes. It's like the Libertarian Party started getting more and more and more popular over the last 20 years. But this all happened after they hit that 3% mark. So I think once we hit that 3% mark, we're going to witness some kind of weird miracle that hasn't been seen on earth in a long time, as far as like the breath of God and the growth of the church. It's going to happen. Just wait.
Yeah, we'll see. Sounds good.
Because everybody's crying out for dad. We all want dad, and that's the only reason why Trump got elected.
Yeah,
really. At the end of the day, I was one of the angry voters that voted for Trump, because fuck that bitch and fuck these Democrats and their fucking nonsense.
But bro, even when you go down to the GOP, I just got to keep it a stack, because I pay attention to Republican politics a lot. Even when we get down to males that vote conservative. And this is coming somebody that's submitted to a Protestant church. They might not be egalitarian in the ideas, but they're still complementarian and reject patriarchy. So even the patriarchy.
Well, that's also the part of the American schema, though. Like, there's a reason why everybody, you don't like orthodoxy, you don't like, we have atheism, they don't like this and that. It's because latent in American culture, our zeitgeist is that of dangerous freedom over order. We hate authority, and this is why, like, orthodoxy it has been a afterthought up until now, because of its authoritarian nature. But we're starting to see what happens when we don't have any authority in our lives. Everything breaks down. It's got to be a balance. You got to balance all three teloi.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just saying, bro. Like, I'm starting to see that they're kind of like low testosterone beta males on the right, just as there are low testosterone beta males on the left. So it's just like the only thing that's different is politics.
You go to Father Turbo Quell's church if you're ever in Kansas City, and I'll show you a miracle. Not one obese person in a packed house. We're talking hundreds of people regularly, not the 10 to 15 at just about every Protestant church that show up regularly. We're talking standing room only, and it's already an Orthodox church with standing room only. So white people, blacks, young, no obesity. Everybody's got, like, every man just about has a beard. Like, it's an ortho church. Everybody's fully fucking bearded.
Yeah, I guess I should have been more specific. Not even just in the sense of weight. It's just like, because there are in-shape dudes in the conservative movement that kind of have female traits, and they're pretty in-shape guys.
Yeah, and that's I think that's just that liberty-based, my freedom. Got to have my freedom. What do you mean I can't interpret the Bible for myself? And we're seeing the error. The biggest wake-up call in that is seeing all these angry, short-haired lesbian priests and pastors and reverends that make a mockery. They put on the costume and with the rainbow flag on them, and then they drape their cathedrals and churches in rainbow idols. So there ain't nowhere else to go. Come home to the Orthodox Church.
Yeah, I'll say this, and Marte knows where I stand on this. We've talked about this on the chat before, but the conservative party needs to be stripped of femcons. Like I said in the chat once a couple of weeks ago, is I didn't even vote for local elections out here in Texas, because the only viable options that were here for local elections here in Texas were all women, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
as an
We're in Kansas City.
with that.
Like we have Mayor Lucas. He's been popping up on the national circuits. I actually think that they're trying to platform him in the future as a possible presidential candidate or Congress or some shit. He's awful. He's an awful communist, feckless. He had the firefighters out here doing police work and the police doing firefighter work, literally getting people killed doing that, by the way. Just every horrible dysgenic policy you could think of, from like trying to establish a sanctuary city, renting out whole hotel chains for immigrants that burn through all that money in weeks. Just every bad decision you could make, and he was our lesser of two evils. It's just like that's just big. That's the city. If you live in a city that's got a basketball team, baseball team, or football team, you there's no way you can be platformed as a conservative and become an alderman or a mayor. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, like I said, I just feel like at large, there just needs to be a femcom purge, because it's just way too many women getting in political office on the right, just as it is on the left.
Well, I think that comes. I'm gonna get off here. I think that comes. You can't reinstate the patriarchy without the father. And we, as Americans, even if you, especially black, even if you grew up with the daddy, we grew up fatherless. Even if you have a father that was there, like our spiritual father, our cultural father, our genetic father, because most of us don't even know, where you come from, like Ghana, East Africa, West Africa, South Africa, etc. We're never going to get daddy back until we get right with our Father in heaven, and that's only going to happen once we start converting in mass to Orthodoxy. Bob Marley wanted it for us. Bob Marley saw the Orthodox Church as the life raft for black people.
I thought he was a Rastafarian, though.
Was. As I said earlier with Emmett, it's like Rastafarianism was my backdoor path into Orthodoxy. Bob Marley converted before he died. He always loved Orthodoxy. He was always a champion of it. And after he got his cancer, he fully converted.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, he joined the Ethiopian Orthodox Church because he wanted to die baptized as a Christian.
Well, praise God.
All right, man. I got like 1 minute left, man. You guys got any last words?
No, I've said too much.
Christ is God.
Oh, man. Took my tagline and everything else. You know what, DC King? I'm going to let you say that.
I got to go apologize to Father Turbo for if I'm out of line. I got to go lay all the groundwork down for what I can and can't say on the internet now.
Yeah, I know, right?
So y'all have a good night. One love, brother. One love.
Yeah, one love. Yep. So one last thing. I got a couple debates coming up Monday. We have a podcast where we have 3 celebrity guests. There's the wife of a woman that you guys know, or not the wife of a woman, but the wife of a man that you guys know, who is probably the best blood sport debater on the planet. She'll be stopping by on Monday as well, too. And not to mention that, but my next debate is going to be that we should do away with civil rights. But yeah, that's about it. I have plenty of other debates coming up, but that's the next one. So
this name wouldn't happen to rhyme with like Schmachel, would it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay. That's a good hint. Yeah, I'll just say that.
Word. Well, hit me up if you want to tag team some fools. I'll be checking my Discord. I gotta go find
I got so many people hitting me up for debates. I'm literally turning some stupid people away. But yeah, I'll see if I'll thumb through it and see if people want to do a 2v1 or 2v2. My bad, because I'm so used to doing 2v1s. 2v2, yeah.
And if we can get the anti-Zionism, like why Christians or Americans or
should support Israel?
No, shouldn't support Zionism.
That's what I'm saying. Shouldn't support. Oh, I would do a shouldn't support Israel, but yeah, Zionism. I could do that too.
Zionism would probably be easier, and it's got a provocative title. right then and there. The Z word's hot.
Yeah, a lot of
Radioactive.
Protestants support Zionism, by the way, too, but that's just them.
Well, I have a whole. Well, we won't unpack that, but there is a whole reason for that
It's an
outside of.
It's an oxymoron, by the way, but yeah.
Well, it's they don't have a tradition, so they created that to be their tradition.
It's an oxymoron. That's
Mhm.
I mean, I can unpack that, but that's a whole different conversation too.
Church.
Church. Yep.
Holla.
I agree. I'll talk to you soon. Christ is God, Trench Deacon. Take
Amen.
it easy. Yep.
Have mercy, I'm a sinner.
Yep. Have mercy on me, especially. So. All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Yep. All right, guys, man. This is going to this is going to be it. But anyways, everybody that pays attention to my podcast, on Monday, we are going to have 3 celebrity guests and one woman who's very prolific in our spaces. She'll be stopping by. Depending on if she has time, I still have to send her the link, and I got to send the link to everybody else. Damn it. And I got to redo the opening to the show because the last opening I had was copyright struck. So I have to redo that because I have original music, and this Monday's podcast is going to be popping. I have another debate coming up on Speakeasy's panel that we should do away with civil rights, and then more. Stay tuned. I have a lot of controversial debates coming up. Yes, I choose a lot of these prompts, and I also make up a lot of these prompts. But the reason why is because I don't like black culture. It's very degenerate, especially in this recent age and era of 2026. I think that has to be done away with. As far as politics, I'm still on the Republican Trump train right now. As far as that, I'm still staunch conservative as far as that goes, and even more. There's a lot that we have to talk about and discuss. I may do another podcast regarding black culture, but we'll see what's going to happen. As far as this, I think that we could talk about politics. We could talk about ICE and everything else, but I've done so many debates against ICE, people that want to protest against ICE and all that. I've literally destroyed everybody that wanted to debate me on the anti-ICE issue. I don't know what else I could say. I've destroyed First Amendment twice. Wick, he got killed in the last debate too. And that was a 1v2 because the moderator was a liberal. And then moving forward from that, like I destroyed the Muslim in the last debate too, and his friend. That was a 1v2. I don't mind destroying people in debates as long as people get something from it. To me, that's extremely important because I have a message, and a lot of this is founded on Christian ethical systems. I don't do theology and I don't do theological debates, but at the heart of my issue, all of this leads back to Christ. That's all I'm going to say, and I'll leave it right there. Everybody else, have a great evening, and Christ is God.